And welcome to this retro content from Throwback Thursdays, whether it's from NoDQ.com, the Jeff Meacham Network, Casa D18 Studios itself, a Simple Man's brand, or the J. Hebert Studios, and anything to do with FTW Productions. This will be the content re-aired right here on Throwback Thursdays that you could expect to see on the Casa channel. I know watching back some of our old content, whether it's the open mic night intro where I'm laid on my bed, which I kind of cringe at, especially with this cool ass setup now, or whether it's, just about anything to do with what we have done on FTW Productions, from a Simple Man's brand, from the J. Hebert Studios, to even some Insanity Works and Retro Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated stuff. There's some good stuff, there's some cringe stuff, and either way, I hope you guys enjoy that stuff coming up, and, even if you didn't enjoy it, I'll be along with you for the ride. Some of the stuff does not age well, like Jeff's content does. I know he has done a deep dive on his own content and cringed at his own self, but either way, I hope you enjoy it regardless. I know in some of these clips, I have a fondness to them. So with that being said, enjoy this Throwback Thursday, and until next time, we'll see you on the J. Hebert side.
Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Hello pals, Alyssa Marino here, and as a friend of Parker Kane Promotions, I am super excited to share the awesomeness that they've got in store for you this November at WrestleCade. You'll be seeing the world-traveling Capital Championship Wrestling Global Fighting Champ Rebecca J. Scott, a rising star who's been featured on Ladies Night Out, MCW, and more, the stunner Emily J., an internationally traveled talent who you've seen on NXT UK and Stardom, Angel of the Ring Zaya Brookside, and NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion, Chicago's sweetheart Missa Kate, will also be appearing live. It's all going down WrestleCade weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You can catch these stars brought to you by Parker Kane Promotions on Saturday, November 25th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And be sure to stick around for Ladies Night Out the following day on Sunday, November 26th. You can get your WrestleCade weekend tickets at WrestleCade.com.
on Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network. Multiverse of Media proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com, Galaxy, here we are, the NoDQ review. Just three of us today. Myself, Virtue, Aaron Rift, and TJS. But it's post Super Showdown, and we're going to give you some more action. Aaron, what's up?
I'm feeling pretty good. I got a good night's sleep last night. I really needed it after the Super Showdown. I got about 3 hours of sleep before the pay-per-view. Watched the pay-per-view, did the live review, and then I tried to nap. I think I napped about 30 minutes, and then I was unable to fall back asleep. So yeah, I definitely got a good night's sleep last night. I'm ready to go here and talk more about Super Showdown and see what you guys thought about it.
Well, here's what I generally do on a Friday night. I'm up until 2 or 3 playing video games anyway. Well, Mega Man 11 came out this week, and I was playing it on my Nintendo Switch, and I grinded through it, which kept me all the way up to Super Showdown, so I never went to bed. Watched Super Showdown, and then when it was all over after your No DQ Live, then I slept for several hours on Saturday. So that's how I got through it. TJS?
Well, I was going to try to stay up for it. I took about a 2-hour nap and set my alarm for the time that Super Showdown started. I watched the New Day match, and then I was like, oh my god, this card is so long. And I just ended up falling asleep, and I had to watch it the next morning. I missed No DQ Live, unfortunately, and I logged out of all social media to avoid spoilers. Thankfully, it worked. You know, no one texted me and said, hey, this happened, so we're all good with that, and I'm ready to talk about it.
All right, so Super Showdown, I brought some key points I want to bring up. Now, if I don't bring up a match or talk about a match and you guys want to, feel free to bring it up. Do it, Aaron. We know your grade. You said C+.
Yeah.
We'll do them again at the end in case you change your mind, Aaron. The first thing I want to talk about is the match that supposedly stole the show, the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, I understand. I get that style of wrestling match. It happened in WCW. But back then, it was just a segment or two. It wasn't this whole revolution, and I say that because, you know, we have the women's revolution, but the indie revolution, right? This is what fans want. I'm old school. I like drawn out matches that Aaron might seem overbooked, like the main event, which we'll talk about. So when I was watching this Cruiserweight match, are these two guys super athletic? Absolutely. No doubt about it. The fact that I picked Alexander to retain and he lost, I'm not upset about that. I didn't even know he was undefeated or that he won all those matches this year. I didn't even know that. But in 2-3 minutes of this match, with everything that they do, and there's not a finish, I just can't find it believable. How are guys 205 and under's bodies able to take more punishment than big main event people? That's my problem with it. What I thought the best match on the show was, I really didn't think there was one. I mean, I liked the main event, because to me, I love when a million things happen. I know some fans think that's overdone. So TJS, what are your thoughts on this Cruiserweight match? And this is where we are in 2018. People want every match to be like this. I want it to be special. And I don't want all the high spots until the end of the match. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think that the thing with the Cruiserweights is that they have that resiliency and the cardio to be able to do all this. And I've seen some indie matches where there's like tons and tons of flips. You know, they do the handsprings and then the 645 moon bomb, whatever. I thought this match was okay. I mean, I love that the crowd was behind Buddy Murphy. I love that he had the Australian flag. But, I mean, he's still supposed to be a heel, so I wasn't too keen on that. I think Buddy Murphy is great, and then he's come a long way since NXT when he was a jobber with, you know, Blake. I don't know. I thought it was a good match. I predicted Buddy Murphy to win, but seeing Cedric pin for the 1-2-3 was just, it was kind of weird to me because he's been undefeated for the last year.
Well, those kickouts that Murphy had at the very end, like he kicked out everything.
Yeah,
So it's like, to me, that was just no selling at its worst. I mean, like if they could have did it a little bit differently, where maybe Alexander did his one finish, not 3 finishes, and then it was close to the ropes or something where you could see Murphy kicking out. And again, maybe I'm just so old school where I remember Jake could just do a short arm clothesline, Jake the Snake, and a DDT, and the crowd just went nuts.
Yeah.
And they need to do all of this to get that same reaction.
Yeah, I think it's weird because no one had kicked out the lumbar check until this match, and you saw Buddy Murphy kick out of it, and I felt like that was just to get the crowd going because, then you saw that he hit the lumbar check, and then you get the 1, 2, and then he kicks out. The crowd went nuts. I feel like if this match wasn't in Australia, it wouldn't have been as good as it was. I feel like the crowd really helped this match.
Yeah.
Aaron?
I agree with you, Tyler. I think being in Australia, that definitely helped the atmosphere. And like I said on my review, I think it was really important for them to have this kind of match to really give the Cruiserweight division some credibility. So I was okay with it, but I do understand Virtue's points as well. I do prefer story over guys doing flips and spots. That's my personal preference. But I did enjoy this match a lot, and I thought everything that needed to be done in that match was done to get people to maybe care about the Cruiserweight division again. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if more people are all of a sudden going to tune into the Cruiserweight division, but this is something that I felt needed to be done a long time ago. And as far as the Cruiserweight division goes, I expect those kind of matches with the Cruiserweights. I expect the small guys to do the flips and do all the big spots. That's what I expect from the Cruiserweights. From the heavyweights, I expect them to be a little bit slower paced and more grounded. So it's just a matter of the size and the different styles. I do enjoy the Cruiserweights having a presence on the show, though.
Yeah, because it wasn't on the kickoff. I mean, there was no kickoff, but it felt good to see the Cruiserweights at least on a regular show instead of pre-show all the time.
Yeah,
well, that's only because there wasn't a pre-show, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what if there was a kickoff show? What match or two do you think would have been on it? Right? What do you think?
Or no, maybe not the Cruiserweight since Buddy Murphy was in it. They were in Australia. I think New Day versus Bar would have been on him.
Agreed.
Yep, that's a good point. All right, well, they are athletic, the Cruiserweights, so there's no doubt about that. But, it's just the style and the era, and that's what's inundating the wrestling world today, and fans want to see that. And if you don't get that style of match, it's boring. So I'm just not there. I don't think I ever will be. John Cena came back, right? So we knew him and Lashley were going to go over. It was so easy that Elias and Owens were going to job.
Yep.
Elias and Owens are doing pretty good as a tandem, drawing heat. Cena doesn't even wrestle really in the match, right? Because he's doing movies with Jackie Chan and China. So he just gets the hot tag, and he does not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, 6 moves of doom. And I did see that weird punch thing that he did on a tape or a video from China, or he did something in China or Japan at a house show recently.
Right.
So I already kind of knew what that move was, but just that screamed house show. What's your thoughts on John Cena coming back? Marky Mark, a lot of people said he had the JBL haircut. I think he looks like Mark Wahlberg. Should take it as a compliment. Aaron, I'll start with you. Thoughts on one midlife crisis, Hollywood, John Cena, which I find the most compelling of his career. But what do you think?
Well, I would love to see a heel turn at some point, but I highly doubt it's going to happen. I suspect we'll be seeing him doing appearances every now and then, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and beyond that, he's just going to be slowly fading out of the picture. Maybe he'll face The Rock at some point thrice in a lifetime. One more time, they'll just keep the nostalgia going with John Cena, just like they have with Undertaker and Triple H. So it's nice to see him back, but I'm hoping at some point WWE might actually do a really interesting storyline with him. I will not rule out a heel turn, but I think it would be cool to see him do something unexpected. But not going to get my hopes on it. TJS, any thoughts on it?
It kind of made me sad when I heard that promo where he was talking about how his life is changing, because for the past, 16 years we've thought about John Cena in WWE, and on that new finisher that he has, I think it's interesting that Elias no-sold the AA and then got up just to get that punch. So I kind of like the punch because it kind of just like, that it probably pisses off a lot of hardcore viewers. Are like, John Cena wins in one punch. I kind of like it though because he does, I think it's cool. It's funny. It gets the crowd to laugh or whatever. And I mean, it is John Cena. He is the Superman of WWE. All it takes is one punch, and you're down.
Like, they should market that, though. Like that crappy T-shirt that he had on, which is so cliche, God. John Cena. Why couldn't they wait on a new T-shirt, and then all of a sudden, even if he's not there, at Raw, they start selling 6 moves of doom and have Cena, like, doing some weird little cartoon gesture on the front. I'd buy it.
Good. Yeah, I like it.
That sounds better than what they did.
Yeah, just a little no smoking sign things. That's old and played out.
Yep.
But, he showed up. He made the Australians happy.
Do you think that that his match with Owens got changed because of this movie? Because it was originally supposed to be him versus Owens, and now it got moved to this tag match where he did.
Movies are very weird like that, where they just don't want to, like, you could get hurt on the set of making the movie, and then it would delay the production of it. Well, that's one thing, because Tom Cruise, that's happened with him. But like, if you're a wrestler and you're going to do a wrestling event, they're going to tell you, we got to get this movie done. You get hurt, shit's going to hit the fan. So, yeah, I think it has a lot to do with that, and that's why he didn't do anything.
Right, just like with The Rock, he was not allowed to do anything more than just give Eric Rowan a rock bottom at WrestleMania 32. Same thing with John Cena, not allowed to take any bumps. They don't want anything
because they were filming.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, if like The Rock during those 2 Mania matches against Cena, I don't think he was filming during that time, so that's fine then.
But he did get hurt in that second match.
He did, so it was a good thing that he probably didn't have any, and it might have cost them getting a movie going after that. They might have had to delay that too. Right. Who knows? 3 minutes, under 3 minutes, we had a match, Bryan and Miz. So we could say something ran long, and of course it's weird because as that match happened and they only booked it 3 minutes, so you're telling me if something of the show before that went too long, and you're not doing 5 hours, right, Aaron? They shrunk it down to 4. That whole last main event segment with entrances went 30 minutes plus. They couldn't have taken 5, 6, 7 minutes out of that,
right,
and still said go out and get your stuff in 8 or 9. Like, this is absolutely insane that they would even put this match in the curtain jerk spot. Now, a lot of people say that's at the beginning of the show, or, indie shows right after intermission. No, in WWE, the curtain jerk spot is the one before the main event. I'm sorry. If you put there, you are filler. This is disrespectful. Now, yes, Bryan won, right? So he's going on to face AJ. They're going to do it now. TJS, like, what are your thoughts? I cannot believe, and if they were going to have it this short, wouldn't there be a better finish? Like, just Bryan catching Miz off guard, not just with the package or a roll-up?
Yeah, here's what I'm hoping. Hopefully, this is not the blow-off, and hopefully they're saving this big 30-minute match for WrestleMania for the WWE title. That's what I'm hoping for. I doubt it, but, I mean, Daniel Bryan looks like a complete goof because he not only has he lost the last 2 matches to Miz, but now he didn't even really win this one decisively. He just won with a small package. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't see Daniel winning the title at Crown Jewel. I don't know. Maybe Miz beats AJ at Royal Rumble, and then Bryan wins the Rumble. That's what we've been saying forever. Hopefully that's what happens. I don't know if the time got cut because with the network, can't they just go like as long as they want?
Yeah, they could.
Well, yeah, and then in a stadium event like that too, I mean, that's not going to make a difference of the arena telling you to get out. So it was just strange. Now, I pointed out, and on SmackDown, Daniel Bryan did that headbutt, I think, against Shelton Benjamin, and it looked like they banged heads. Now, he obviously didn't get a concussion because they would have done the protocol. He would have been taken off this match. But I just wonder if they just made it as more simple, or that's the one they decided to shorten up because they're just like, well, Bryan just banged his head on Tuesday. Let's just do this. I don't know. I mean, we won't know, but I get it's concerning that Daniel Bryan is throwing his head out there and getting banged up, and then all of a sudden he's got a 2.5-minute match, which, Aaron, he did go over. Yes, any other thoughts?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say that Daniel Bryan talking about his small package on Twitter, I'm not sure I would be bragging about that, but it is funny. Daniel Bryan is going on to face AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. So they're not doing it at WrestleMania unless this is going to be some really weird storyline where they have a match and then they do something else and then go back to it at WrestleMania. I feel like it's not happening at WrestleMania now. WWE's pulling the trigger on it early. I would love to see maybe there be some sort of disputed finish at Crown Jewel and then maybe try to hold off until Royal Rumble. See, I still think AJ is going to beat CM Punk's reign. I think AJ will be champion until at least the Royal Rumble, so maybe they can somehow drag this out until January, do the match at the Royal Rumble, have AJ win the title, or excuse me, Bryan win the title, and then have The Miz win the Royal Rumble, and then you finish off Miz and Bryan once and for all at WrestleMania, Hell in a Cell for the WWE title. That's what I would do at least.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I said on Twitter that if one match should have won under 3 minutes, it should have been the Cruiserweight match. Not against anything against them, but they did so much stuff in the first 3 minutes that should have ended the match. And yet Bryan and Miz, two smaller guys relatively, it's just, that's WWE booking for
in my opinion, the main event could have been cut like a good 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you could even say that.
Where Undertaker and Triple H were basically walking around Undertaker's dragging Triple H.
We'll talk about that botch too, because I noticed something. And yeah, these guys are old. We'll definitely talk about that.
Has Daniel Bryan re-signed? I mean, I'm guessing, but I haven't heard anything officially.
Yeah, he has.
All right, so do you guys think Ronda's getting better? Now, she was in the 6-man tag. It was her and the Bellas versus the Riot Squad. We knew she was going to go over. Ronda on an international stage, come on. I did think that was a unique finish with the double armbar. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, I want to start with you. Is Ronda getting better from your observations?
I think she definitely is. And like I've said before, I think the biggest problem right now is not Ronda. I think she's doing really well overall. She just doesn't have a really strong heel to work with. And I don't really buy into the idea that anybody can beat her on the Raw roster. She already fought Nia Jax. She already fought Alexa Bliss. She might face Nikki Bella at Evolution, and that might be a decent match. Maybe Natalya. You got a few people on there, but not a lot. She's quickly running out of opponents, and I guess Ember Moon is another name that could possibly face her, but I would be grooming Ember Moon right now for Ronda. I would be having her go on a rampage, winning matches every week, and build her up. So Ronda.
They had someone, man. They had someone, and they didn't ruin it at WrestleMania, right? Because losing to Charlotte clean at WrestleMania is fine. They had Asuka.
Yeah.
They had her right there, Asuka and Ronda, but not now. To me, you can't. TJ,
well, yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Glow in the dark hair. Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Asuka's a joke, and it's so sad to see.
No, she's not a joke. The booking and management of her is a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand. I know I say it 1,000 times in video. I don't understand WWE's logic. Asuka was undefeated for over 900 days. The announcer said this on commentary. She was undefeated for over 900 days. She surpassed Goldberg's streak, and ever since WrestleMania, she's just been comedy, and it's bad. And I'll say about Ronda, it's really hard for this because she's been selling a lot, and I feel like if she keeps selling like this, she's not going to look like the baddest on the planet like she's supposed to be. And, I mean, I feel like this double armbar is kind of what she needed to make her look, badass like she has been, instead of just, because Alexa beat her up really bad, from a kick to the ribs. And I think she was overselling it, but, I mean, I'm guessing that's what they're telling her to do. I just feel like if it's Ronda, she needs to go out there and just kick ass and not, I wanted to sell, but not oversell. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yep. I think it just depends on the opponent, though. They're trying to build somebody up and create this storyline where you believe that somebody could possibly beat Ronda. The problem is Alexa Bliss and the Iconics. Well, Iconics on SmackDown, Riot Squad, whatever. Well, they've all been booked so poorly. When they do get some offense on Ronda, you really don't believe it because they don't have that credibility as characters.
Exactly. I feel like they need to build them up by having them win matches, not by going in there and having like getting a bunch of hits in on Ronda, because it reminds me of the Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
Like if Alexa Bliss or someone beat Ronda, I would feel like it's the Jinder Mahal, because Alexa's been booked poorly.
Right.
Sure, she was in the main event, but now, I don't believe that Alexa's 5-foot frame could beat Ronda. So.
Just look where we are, though. Like, on this event, we had no Nakamura, no Randy Orton, no Bobby Roode. You know what I mean? That's where we are. Is it too much talent to go around now, maybe?
Yep.
And it's watering it down for the talent that's not used properly. But I don't know. Nonetheless, the Iconics did go over, so I was shocked that both hometown, Buddy Murphy and Iconics both went over. That's just so not Vince McMahon. But, hey, they did. And of course, this is their way of protecting Asuka. Well, she was on the losing team, but Naomi took the pin. Any quick thoughts on that before we move on to the Shield versus the Dogs of War?
Have Asuka beat the hell out of Naomi on the next SmackDown. Snap and completely destroy her. That's all I have to say, Aaron.
Yeah, the glow-in-the-dark hair just isn't cutting it for me.
Like her weird moves on her normal entrance is fine. That's Asuka. But the doing it quicker to keep up with Naomi, I'm like, what?
Remember when Goldberg did all the funny dancing and stuff in WWE? Oh, wait, he just wore Goldust's wig. I forgot.
Well, that's WWE for you. All right, so we had the six-man tag. And, of course, they're really playing this Dean Ambrose getting torn, or, he got Superman punched. And it almost seems like they're focusing more on potential turmoil within the Shield than they are the Shield as a unit versus the Dogs of War. That's what I took out of this match. I'm seeing that they really want to drive home is there dissension within the Shield. Aaron, what was your thoughts on this match? I absolutely love that spear spot.
I did
the
too.
Cross spear. To me, I actually retweeted that GIF. Those are the spots I look for. And you can't say, oh, Roman's horrible. That whole sequence needed to be perfectly timed. It was good. It was good. So, again, it seems like wrestlers these days go out to get animated GIFs. Is it GIF or GIF? I get it wrong every time.
Same here.
But it seems like there's always something in a match that ends up looking pretty cool on the internet, and I think that's what they want. That's how they drive home these matches. Shield wins. They let Ambrose get the shine. He still doesn't have a title. I think they're going to drag this potential breakup up for months, but never really do it. Aaron, thoughts on this match? I heard you mention on your live show you thought this one also went a little bit too long.
Yeah, I thought maybe they could have cut maybe 5 minutes out of it. Main event, they could have cut 10 minutes out. Use that 15 minutes for Bryan and Miz, but whatever. I did enjoy the match, though, and I love that spot. Like you said, that was great. And as far as the storyline goes, they were doing the Ambrose tease. But in the end, Roman sacrificed himself and Seth Rollins sacrificed himself. So the whole idea is that they are really solid as a unit. What I got out of it is that Ziggler is going to be splitting up with McIntyre because the announcers kept making a big deal out of it that Dolph Ziggler wants to prove he's the weakest link. And what happened? He got beat again. So I think that's going to be followed up on this coming week during Raw. And
they should break that group up because Strowman needs nobody, and that has weakened him so much, I think. But what do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I think there's going to be something with Ziggler. He's going to, the weak link storyline will continue. And yeah, I agree with you. I think Strowman should be off on his own, but I don't know what's going on with Strowman now. I mean, I'm assuming the focus will be on Strowman on his own against Lesnar and Reigns for Crown Jewel. And then Ziggler and McIntyre will have their storyline, and there'll be some kind of dissension between them. TGS, your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you guys about the whole barricade spot. Like you said, it's got to be perfectly timed. So Roman had to go at the perfect time, or that would have looked awful, and it didn't. It looked great. I'm not sure. I think that I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Braun Strowman needs no one, like you guys said. When he picked his tag team partner at WrestleMania, he chose a 10-year-old kid, and his whole thing was, I don't need anyone. I can win the titles on my own. That's what he did. That's, I think Braun needs to be on his own. He needs to turn babyface again, because I'm not digging the heel thing. I just don't like the dog pack, because, that's what it is. And in order for there to be dissension between Dolph and Drew, they have to lose the tag titles first. Who do they lose those to? AOP?
Who knows? Rollins and Ambrose, who knows? I mean, again, okay, so WWE wants turmoil. Every team, there's always turmoil. They can never keep a unit. Pretty soon, AOP will have turmoil.
I just want the Revival to be tag champs. That's all I want.
Ain't happening. Sorry.
Good luck. Good luck, Brainbusters 2.0. I like them though, but they had their run in NXT, and Vince just doesn't see things like Triple H does. Joe, so AJ won. He's on the cover of 2K19. He's chasing CM Punk's modern day WWE title run length of days, and Joe lost.
Yeah.
So TJS, what's next for Joe? We kind of talked about this before, but like seriously. What's next for Joe? We know what happened with Nakamura. They ended up giving him the U.S. title after his feud with AJ. He's not even on TV with a title.
I think Joe needs to be written off TV for a little bit. Have a really over-the-top story where they say Samoa Joe's going to jail or something since what he did to AJ's family, and say he's serving like a 6-month sentence or something. Put him off TV. Just say that he's on house arrest. Do something to give this guy a little more credibility, because he tapped out to AJ. And I get that he worked the knee and everything, but Samoa Joe's a big 300-pound ass kicker. Doesn't look good to see him tapping out to AJ, especially after he talks such a big game. So as far as I'm concerned, write him off. Aaron, what do you think?
Samoa Joe is the guy that comes close but never wins the big one. Poor Joe. But like I said, I think AJ going for CM Punk's title reign record is the current direction right now, and that's why Joe wasn't. Even if it wasn't an issue with CM Punk, I don't think Joe would be WWE champion. I just don't think he's the guy that Vince wants to be champion. So
he's fat.
They almost need to do a trade and trade him to Raw and like have him feud with Rollins or something.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking like, why not do a trade? We haven't seen trades in a while, and you have a brand extension. Why not? I think Joe. I'd love to see Joe traded to Raw and somebody like Balor, who's really lost in the shuffle on Raw, go to SmackDown and have Joe get a fresh start there. You could even do Strowman as a babyface versus a heel Joe.
And you could have Balor feud with Nakamura for the U.S. title.
There you go.
I mean, it opens up possibilities.
It definitely does. I think a trade would be a really solid move at this point. I just don't know who you put Joe against. Maybe Jeff Hardy. I could see Jeff Hardy as a possibility. I'm trying to think of solid babyface acts. Maybe you just turn Nakamura backface and have him feud with Joe. That's a possibility.
I feel like no one cares about Nakamura at this point, and it's sad to say.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. title is basically irrelevant at this point. I mean, it's not even featured on the pay-per-views.
You know what people do care about? If they don't, they're going to have to continue to care about pancakes. The New Day, still the tag champs, and we're going to get more pancake segments and Mr. Bootyworth or whatever he's worth.
No.
Aaron, I don't really have much to say about the tag match. New Day's still the champs.
Yep.
Any last thoughts on the tag match?
Who faces New Day next? The Usos, maybe? The Usos haven't been used in a while. I think it would be nice to see them back in the mix, but we've already seen the Usos in New Day many times. Not complaining about it. They always have great matches, but yeah, that's the other thing, too, with the tag division. Like, as great as the Bar, Usos, and New Day are, like, they've faced each other so many times now. It's just, it needs to be changed up a little bit. I think they should do trades. It's been about 6 months, right? Since I would say, at the 6-month point, 6 months after you do the Superstar shakeup, you do like a little mini shakeup where you do a couple of trades just to keep things fresh and change things up a little bit.
How about just consolidating to one tag team title? And we've talked about this with other titles. Just have the tag champs bounce on both shows.
That's what I said from the get-go. I am very much in favor of just having one world champion, one tag team champion, one mid-card champion, like U.S. and IC title, merge those. And then if you want to introduce one more title, like women's tag team titles, go for it. That way, you don't have too many titles. And it makes the titles more important because the champions get to be on both shows. So there's more incentive to be champions if you're the champion or champions, you get to be on both shows, and therefore in the storyline, you're making more money because you're getting to be on both shows. That's just my take on it.
I
Well,
think that there needs to be 2 mid-card titles, I think, but everything else I agree with you. I mean, to have just one world champion just sounds good to me because because if they go on the talk show, it's like, oh, you're the champion of the WWE, right? Well, no, I'm actually the Universal Champion. AJ Styles is the. It's all confusing to people that don't watch wrestling.
Right, and if you're AJ Styles, then you're on a talk show. You're like, yeah, I'm the WWE champion, but I'm always the mid card on the show.
Oh, yeah, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I think that. Do you remember when there were number one contender storylines, guys? When there were feuds that weren't just title feuds, and there was actual number one contender matches where people work their way up the ranks instead of just the tag team matches.
Well, the Intercontinental Champion used to become the number one contender.
Right. I was just going to say, same thing with the U.S. title in WCW. Usually the mid-card champion was considered the number one contender. I like that. I think they should go back to that.
I thought that was the whole point of being a mid-card. I mean, you start in the mid-card, or actually you start in the undercard, you work your way up, win the IC title, and then you defend it. And you could do like the Plan C thing like TNA did, where you relinquish the IC title and get a match for the world title. I mean, I don't understand.
Let's not copy TNA.
Well, we have the red cage now, so red cell.
Well, they're going to be having Dewey Foley have to make a lot more pancakes in the back. So going forward,
are we talking
the main
about
event
TNA today?
Well, we could. I mean, I do have a couple kind of topics after we're done with Super Showdown. We got to do the main event first of Super Showdown, though. Okay. Triple H versus The Undertaker. The whole match, I was rooting for one thing, Shawn Michaels' hat. I was like, dude, he super glued it on his head. It is not falling off. And I popped when it finally did fall off. He took a lot of bumps and fall downs before it finally did. It played out pretty much exactly like most of us called it. Now, there was some slow spots. They did have a lot of sledgehammer use, chair use. Shawn got involved from the very beginning. It went to the outside. There was a moment where it looked like it was supposed to be some type of a back body drop. I don't think, when I watched that again, you could say Taker was sluggish, didn't have the power to get trips over. I think Triple H didn't commit because his angle was looking right down on that barricade that had the foot sticking up. So I think that shouldn't have been done. Probably could have eliminated all of that stuff outside the ring right there. Would have gave more time to another match. But overall, the story was delivered. It was, to me, telegraphed 101 at the very end where they're all holding their hands up. I knew that was coming. And this is the era of the internet where we have information and we get leaks and we kind of know what they might do. So that took away from it a little bit. But TJS, your thoughts on this match? Did it deliver for these guys being older and slower?
I was entertained by it. I mean, it's always, we talk about how Undertaker can't go anymore, but when you hear that gong, you get excited. You see that entrance, you love seeing it. And Undertaker, he needs to hang it up, I think. But I mean, it is good to see him. I'm just curious, why the hell did he punch the referee out of nowhere? That was just random to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
good job, Mike Chioda, though. That was great ref work right there.
I get that the ref counted slow, but then it was just so random. Undertaker just looks over at Mike Chioda and just goes, and then the ref just falls, and Michael Cole's like, "What the hell?" I was confused.
Yeah.
I'm with Virtue though. I saw the whole. I saw Undertaker, Kane attacking Shawn and Triple H afterwards. The whole time I was like, okay.
It's like there was a slight delay, like they didn't know when they should do it. You know what I mean? And that I was like, they should have just done it.
And you saw Undertaker and Kane looked at each other too, like, okay.
Well, but Triple H did heel work to win the match. Really, that's what happened there. Right. But yet he wanted a handshake and congratulate Taker afterwards. It was kind of weird. But they're trying to do the Madison Square Garden thing, like the respect of the brothers, the boys. So they're really breaking the fourth wall there.
It's really convoluted. I mean, it gave me flashbacks to Sting and Triple H from WrestleMania 31. Triple H cheats to win, basically, and there's all the outside interference. And then he's like, oh, Sting, let's shake hands, all in good fun, even though he broke the rules and cheated, and Sting basically got screwed.
What do you think Undertaker and Kane are going to say about this now? Like, what are they going to say their reason was?
Well, doesn't
because
Kane
they
have
were
work to do
cheating
in
the whole
Knoxville
match.
County?
Shawn Michaels was cheating. Shawn Michaels from the get-go. See, I wasn't really a big fan of that. I would have rather seen something more natural lead up to Shawn Michaels getting involved. Maybe Triple H and had the match won and the referee was down or something, and Shawn got in the ring and was like trying to check on the referee, and Undertaker's like, what are you doing getting in here? You shouldn't be in here. Something that's a little bit more natural and not like Shawn Michaels cheating, basically.
You could have Undertaker throw Triple H at Shawn Michaels like over the top rope, and then Shawn gets taken down, and then he gets up all pissed off.
Something like that. There's so many ways this could have been done better, in my opinion. I think Shawn Michaels just going right off the bat, attacking Undertaker. Like, what set him off? Didn't he say on TV he was there to just watch the match? And if Kane tried to get involved, he would give him a super kick. But he's right there interfering from the get-go. I don't understand that. It was very convoluted, in my opinion.
It's like they're forecasting. We already know Brothers of Destruction, if this match happens, are going over because they're making Triple H and Shawn come across as the DX degenerate heels, right? And then this is, they're going to do all that stuff, but just for the babies to win in the end. To me, it's predictable that if this match happens at Crown Jewel, they're going to try to cheat. They're going to be the heels, but Taker and Kane are going to win.
Now, here's the other thing, too. So at the end, when that whole thing went down, the announcers were basically saying, what are they doing here? It's the ultimate act of betrayal. I think that's the exact word they used. I'm like, what? Shawn Michaels was cheating the whole time, and Undertaker and Kane, they're just getting payback. How is that the ultimate act of betrayal? I'm like, what?
I didn't know all four of them were good buddies. It's like that's a Shield breaking up. Wait, they were against each other going into the match.
Yeah, I don't blame Undertaker and Kane for doing what they did. They should have done that. Screw those jerks. But I mean, come on now. It's funny because the sleep, being able to rest and look back on it, I actually downgrade that match now. I think it was a mess, and
wow.
I stick with my C+. Yeah, I mean, it was very much to me like Sting and Triple H. When I watched it live, first time, I'm like, I'm in the moment. I'm saying, this is pretty awesome. NWO's coming out. This is awesome. DX. This is really cool. And then afterwards, I watch back on it, and I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever. It was beyond dumb, and it's just merely nostalgia, and that's the thing that carries it. But logic-wise, it's just a complete mess. So, yeah, I think it could have been done way better. Way better.
Is it time for Undertaker to hang it up then, you guys think?
It's been time, but,
I'm very mixed. Shawn Michaels coming back for this, I don't know how I feel. Yeah, he has honored the retirement for 8 years, which is more than pretty much anybody has done. Terry Funk, Ric Flair, you name the person. I really don't want to see it.
And the bump Shawn took, the choke slam through the table.
He still has
it. Dude, he's awesome. He's the best of all time. There is no debate. There is absolutely no Ric Flair, no Chris Jericho. They're all great. Shawn is the best in-ring workers, period.
Yeah, even Shawn's, when Kane punched him at the end when they were all holding their hands up in the air and then Kane punched him, look at how Shawn sold that. Shawn is still the man, but...
The master of overselling to where it's not really overselling. He is so good.
The bald guy...
He's what Stickler wants to be.
So Aaron grades at C+, right? We know why.
Sticking with that.
TJS?
I don't think this show is that great. It certainly didn't live up to the hype. I'm going flat C-.
Wow.
Nice. And I'm doing, to me, it came across like the house show. They did a title change. It got my emotion, right? Because why did they do that? I got my nostalgia. I got everything I kind of wanted. I splurged. I'm going to stick with my B. I was thinking B-, but I just, to me, that B grade is status quo. You know what I mean? And it's hard, when I invest into these characters. Everybody knows I like Roman Reigns. HBK is one of my all-time favorites. Yeah. We got to, the fact that it was the end of an era again, right? Whatever. But I'm just going to stick with my B. You guys couldn't convince me to lower it. Maybe if I watch through it one more time. Not going to happen.
Right, exactly. Are you really
I
going to
just-
sit
Well,
through that
because of the
match
length,
again?
because of the length, though. But
And there was too many tag matches for my taste.
Yeah, I agree on that too.
I don't like tag matches that much.
It was
I just
kind of
got
a
tired.
lazy card, lazy.
what did you guys give Greatest Royal Rumble? By the way, I can't remember. I think I gave that like a C+. So I like this show better than that one. I don't know why.
It was
I gave
all
B
right.
minus.
Yeah, I don't remember what I gave it, but
Comparing it to these type of events, that's why I brought that one up,
Yeah,
because
I
it was
mean-
out of
Well,
the
the-
country.
The Royal Rumble helped the Greatest Royal Rumble because, I mean, even if the Royal Rumble sucked, it's still a Royal Rumble, and everyone's like, oh, it's fun. And at that time, I thought Braun was going to go on to be the world champion, so I gave it a B minus.
Yeah. But I mean, no one's giving this show any higher than, or an A or higher, or a B+ or higher. So
Right.
we know that. We can all agree on that. All right, well, let's talk about a few other things. So we did bring up Elias, and let's go back to Raw. He always knows how to trigger the fans in every city that he goes. Now, yes, Aaron, we've talked about how he uses something like cheap heel heat. Well, in Seattle, maybe he just expected bringing up the Supersonics basketball team as cheap heel heat. But boy, was that more. And what impressed me most about that segment with Kevin Owens is I always think Kevin Owens does well on his own, but Kevin Owens is really, really good with somebody. And we talked about, let's get credible tag teams together. Here you go. Here you go. Kevin Owens and Elias, and they work well together on the mic. They work that spot on Raw beautifully. They turn the lights up. WWE, Vince must have been, oh, man, we got to let this go for a while. Put the lights up. Show the people. I thought this was fantastic, and it shows to me that Elias is wasted talent. He's just a guitar gimmick to Vince McMahon. He's basically an enhancement jobber, so to speak, to bigger stars that they want to push. But I think he could be so much more, and if you're not going to push him to become like the next Rock, and you know what I mean, having guys that you would never expect become big stars all of a sudden leading your company, if they're afraid to do that with something like Elias, push him towards an Intercontinental title, like with Rollins, which he had a shot. Put him with Owens. Make them a really good, compelling tag team. Guys, thoughts on Elias being wasted? At least that's what I think. Aaron, I'll start with you.
Well, like I said before, I think he should have won the IC title at Money in the Bank. He should have beaten Rollins. I don't think Rollins needs the IC title. He really doesn't, especially now with the Shield. And the IC title here was pretty much an afterthought. I think he came out with the title, but it's like, why not have it on somebody that could benefit from being champion? I think Elias with the IC title would have made perfect sense and would have been really
he
cool.
controls the crowd on the mic. That's a lost art today.
Absolutely.
He can control that crowd.
Yeah, that was really, really amazing on Raw to see that happen and how sustained the booing was. I don't remember the last time we heard boos sustained for that long. Maybe Roman Reigns after WrestleMania 33. And those are the types of segments that you cannot script, that was such a memorable moment on Raw, but that is not something you can just say, hey, we're going to have this moment, we're going to get the people to boo like that. But Elias is really good. I mean, he goes out there, he does his thing, and I would like to see him maybe win the IC title at some point, but I feel like the ship has maybe sailed on that. Him and Owens feels like it's one of those scenarios where two guys are just being thrown together. But we have seen it work in the past. Look at Sheamus and Cesaro. They were thrown together, and they've done really well. So maybe it'll work out for these guys. We'll have to wait and see. Tyler?
Well, it just seems like KO does good with the Buddy. He did well with Jericho. Him and Zayn have the history, and now him and Elias. And to me, it's clicked on every time you put Owens with somebody. Maybe that's just how good of a performer Owens is.
Well, you remember when Kevin Owens came back to Raw, he promised destruction, anarchy, and chaos. And, boy, we're really getting it now. He's singing with Elias. I don't know. I like the pairing. I like Elias. I think that Elias should be Intercontinental Champion. I'm picturing him having a guitar with the Intercontinental Championship design on it. Mm-hmm. And he could do like the Damian Sandow where he refuses to defend the title in the city and then refuses to perform. He could leave. And I think it would be so good because this guy has been money. He did the album, and, there was a time back in December one year when, the audience was chanting CM Punk at him, and he was like, well, I know one thing for damn sure. CM Punk's not going to interrupt me. Like, this guy's so good at working on the fly. I don't understand what's going on with him. Hopefully, him and Owens. I'm wondering if they were just paired up because of the tag match that was coming up. I'm wondering if they'll go their separate ways. I certainly hope not, because I love the spot where JoJo says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Elias and Kevin Owens," and he turns around in the stool and faces the hard cam. I love it.
Well, the way the business used to be is you would see someone who had talent and you would build a star. And so this would be where, throw $1 million at him. You bring The Rock in to have a program with Elias, and everyone's like, oh, it's going to be The Rock outclassing Elias on the guitar, beating him in a match or beating him up, but shock the world. And Dwayne would agree to this because he's an actor. Have him put Elias over like we used to have wrestlers do. Star is born. Oh, nope, because you can't have anybody too bigger than the WWE these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm thinking about Vince McMahon, right? And he's been absolutely right. We've said his vision of wrestling. Look where WWE is. He can still make money with low ratings on TV, with tarp sections at events. But like we talked about this, so we're revisiting it. Kenny Omega is the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Chris Jericho is the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Cody Rhodes is and I think he just won it from another non-Japanese wrestler, Juice Robinson. He is the IWGP US Champ. And then, of course, the Samoan guys, whatever they're called, Guerrillas of Destiny, they hold 2 sets of tag titles, six-man tag titles and the regular tag titles. Those are not Japanese wrestlers, and even New Japan, they have other titles, but they put their titles on Westerner or non-Japanese talent. And it's funny that they're trying to build their product over here in the United States. That's proving Vince McMahon right. Nakamura is the U.S. champ, not even on TV, not even making big shows outside of the United States. Asuka, we know what's happened to her. Vince McMahon's right. Japanese wrestlers don't draw over here. People want to hate me for it. TJS, did I not just point out that Vince McMahon is right? As of right now, of what we know, even New Japan is looking at it that way. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I agree. And I know there are people that are probably going to say that we're racist for saying this, but we're not saying that.
We like those wrestlers. Yeah. We like Nakamura. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we like Japanese wrestlers, but the problem is that they're just not doing the thing over here. I mean, Nakamura. I mean, do you guys really think that he would draw as a WWE champion? I don't. He's not drawing as U.S. champion.
Well, the fact they wouldn't even give him the title in mid-card like AJ's doing, I mean, that even speaks more to Vince McMahon being right.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. title, look at it like 5 years ago, John Cena was doing his open challenge, and it felt like a big deal. Then Roman had it, and now it's awful. And you hit the nail on the head, Virtue. There's not much more I can say about it, Aaron.
I mean, it's just a scenario where you got to hide the weaknesses and play to their strengths. And with Nakamura and Asuka, their strengths were just going out there and kicking ass. But when you start having them do promos and comedy and trying to make them into WWE superstars as Vince's vision of them is, then yeah, it's not going to work out. You gotta use what brought them to the dance. And I think trying to give Asuka the dyed hair. Again, I keep going back to that, but it's just so absurd. And that's not what got fans into her in the first place.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily need to be able to cut promos. I mean, look at Goldberg. Goldberg became a huge star in WCW without saying anything. Sting in the feud with Hogan. He didn't say a word until the very first Thunder. So you don't have to cut promos. And I think once guys like Nakamura and Asuka start talking, there's a disconnect with American
guys
audiences.
like Nakamura, gals like Asuka. I
when they talk with a heavy accent, and as an American, it's hard to understand them. Then
and they don't do the manager role. Yeah, they don't do the manager role anymore like they should. And, Nakamura and Asuka, they're getting a paycheck. They're making good money. So they're just riding it out. You know that they know at some point when they want to go back to wherever they were before, Nakamura could have big matches at Wrestle Kingdom again. He knows that. And it will happen down the road one day when he's done with WWE and Asuka wherever she went. So they know that they're going to go and get big matches where people love them again. But it's to that, it's basically, it shows that it's a job. And some wrestlers, TJS, they don't look at it that way. They leave the company, right? Cody Rhodes. He wasn't happy with making his paycheck, but being dealt the cards he was dealt, he went big deal in the Indies. Neville recently popped back up.
Yeah.
And so we were going to do open. Let's just bring that topic up now. So TJS, you wanted to talk about Neville. He popped back up. Do you think that it's just going to be small indie stuff, or will he be utilized in a bigger role with, like a Ring of Honor or a more known indie company?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't even know who Dragon Gate was until I, heard about this.
I've heard of them before, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really surprising to me because WWE never officially released a statement saying that Neville was released. It's like they were just trying to sweep this whole thing under the rug. I mean, I guess that makes sense because it shows that you can just walk out on WWE with no consequences. I mean, CM Punk walked out and didn't he get, he got in trouble for a contract breach or something. Yeah. Neville, I guess, I know his contract was frozen, but now he can just do what he wants, it seems. He moved back to the UK. And
well, it's like a one-person strike, he went on strike against the company. You got to remember, TJ, these guys are independent contractors too. So, I mean, sure, could WWE hold them against something legally? But in reality, you don't have to do a job. Like a guy could say he's going to come and paint my fence and I sign a contract, and then he could not do it, right? I mean, I'm sure I'd get my money back, but it's just a weird scenario, and I'm sure on both sides they can get out of stuff. You can always get out of contracts at some point, and it's been some time now, so things must have gotten settled. It is surprising with the internet we haven't heard anything, though, until all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, I mean, there was a picture, there was a selfie that was posted with Neville, and then it was like the next day he was on this show. And I mean, he's not on WWE 2K19, the video game. So I don't know. He's officially gone, and he showed up here, and hopefully, I mean, this is a guy that I would love to see go to New Japan, or I would really love to see a match between him and Cody. That would just be like the battle of underrated talents. I think they would steal the show and show WWE that these guys can be main eventers. You saw Neville have the match with Seth Rollins when Rollins was WWE champion. I thought Neville was going to win the title there until there was the DQ finish. So, Aaron?
Yeah, I think that Neville's doing something that he wants to do. He wants to follow his passions, and he doesn't want to be held back. And I think maybe that's how he felt he was being treated in WWE. I'm happy for him. I want to see him succeed and do what he wants to do, and time will tell. Maybe he will end up doing stuff with Ring of Honor. Maybe if there's an All-In 2, we'll see Neville on that card. I think he's gonna have the ability to work anywhere he wants to work. I don't think that's going to be a problem for him. He should be able to have the freedom. He's got the reputation. People know he's quality. He's going to be able to make a good living for himself and not have to
Lucha Underground. There's Impact. There's Ring of Honor, New Japan. I mean,
yeah.
Well, but still, I mean, there's still a buzz about Jericho showing up there. I mean, they could be completely gone, Aaron, but they're not.
It's a mess.
I mean, you got to look at it that way. But they could be completely gone. But they're an indie company. I mean, that's why
I watched a little bit of Impact this week, and it still comes off so indie. Like, it doesn't even feel like the old Impact where it was maybe the number 2. It feels like an indie wrestling
Ring of Honor.
show that's
it really
televised.
Does look like a Ring of Honor
it's
show.
So low rent. They have no star power. I don't know who half these guys are.
Who's the world champion?
It's Austin Aries. But the problem with Aries is he's going on Twitter. He's
Good
trying
segue,
to stir
Aaron.
the pot.
Go ahead. Perfect segue.
He's trying to stir the pot on Twitter, and he's making these comments, and he's getting a lot of people upset. He's getting the wrong kind of heat, and he doesn't even know the difference between you're and you are. That's a whole other thing. It was embarrassing, and it just makes the company look bad, and Aries is trying to say in 16 years I've made more people excited about Bound for Glory. Yeah, give me a break, Austin. I'm an Austin Aries fan, but he's
Bound
coming
for
off,
Glory, where we had Kurt Angle and Sting on before, and he says that.
He's coming off very delusional, and I think it's getting the wrong kind of heat at this point. And I was thinking about maybe watching Bound for Glory. I do have some Fight TV credits, so I can watch it for free, but Man, I'm not really
not
that
worth it,
motivated
man.
to watch it. I think there's just no momentum whatsoever with this company. If Jericho shows up there, I think he's a fool. I think it hurts his brand if he shows up there, quite
Nothing hurt.
honestly.
See, you're wrong there. We'll argue.
All right.
Jericho can show up anywhere. He can show up in my backyard and do a show. He will never ruin his brand. He will only bring up wherever he goes, unless it's WWE that's bigger than Jericho. But
didn't
come
Jericho
on, Aaron.
say,
You have to exclude Jericho from that.
Who does
He
Jericho
can go
even
anywhere.
feud with if he goes to TNA? Because nobody's a star there.
It doesn't matter. He brings somebody up and makes them maybe somewhat relevant during the time they feud
Who's
with
he
him.
gonna
But
face? Who's he gonna face,
again,
Moose?
I still think he's so loyal to Vince in a way. It would have already happened if it was going to happen. I just think it's the buzz that it could happen, but I don't think it does.
Maybe Eli Drake would be a good feud.
That to be honest with you, that would. To me, I could see Eli Drake in NXT, and again, then he'd get to the main roster one day and be nobody. But I mean, they pluck people from TNA for NXT.
See,
it's been happening. It's been happening.
I think they're going to ruin Jericho if he shows up there. It's going to damage his brand. I think The Rock could show up.
Wrong
I think The Rock could show up in Impact Wrestling, and it would somehow be ruined, in my opinion.
Here's the thing,
and here comes your heat with Andre again, Aaron. I hope he doesn't watch this video.
Jericho said that if he's not getting paid six figures, he's not showing up anywhere.
Which they're not going to do. They can't.
Exactly.
So it's not going to happen anyway.
Unless Don Callis has some scandal that he has on Jericho.
TNA would go under trying to pay Jericho to show up, and I don't think it's happening.
I mean, he could do something for free for Don Callis, maybe, or do something as a charity.
Think about it. He barely does New Japan. I mean, he hasn't even defended the IWGP IC title, and he probably won't until he loses it. So he's busy. He's a busy guy. He's going to be doing his cruise. I think that's this month, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that is coming up. Great.
He's doing his own thing, Fozzy, and he'll show back up in WWE at some point. Because that's Chris Jericho. He always does. He's been doing it since 1999.
Here's the thing about Jericho. If he was going to show up in TNA, he should have done it in 2006. That would have made a big impact because TNA was starting to get some momentum. Kurt Angle came in, and I remember they used Enemy for the Bound for Glory music video, and that was getting people buzzing at the time.
And he wasn't with anybody back then. Remember, he took that hiatus, Chris Jericho?
You could have done Jericho versus AJ Styles, Jericho versus Samoa Joe, Jericho versus Christian, all the guys that were there in TNA at the time.
I still think he brings TNA up a little bit because New Japan already had Wrestle Kingdom sold well, but as soon as him and Omega get in a deal, they sell 5,000 more seats. The New Japan World app went insanely up. Now New Japan's selling out Garden. I'm not saying that's all Jericho, but he brought some type of Western buzz to New Japan. He's not your WWE headline WrestleMania guy like The Rock, but outside of that WWE bubble, Jericho has become a draw. And I think no matter where he goes, he would bring attention.
So you think Jericho,
put something of Jericho
versus
on
that
the
Yokozuna guy is going to draw people in?
Jericho versus anybody. I'm serious. I want you to put on this TJS, make something up. For the little picture that Aaron puts up for these videos, I want it to be something of Jericho for this one. Okay. That's my request. Jericho turned into the main event today.
What about
Who knew?
Jericho versus the mini Kamala? Is that going to be
anybody? Jericho versus Hornswoggle. Jericho. I don't care. It's Chris Jericho. Him and Sean are my 1A and 1B and Owen, but and Savage, Hennig.
Chris could make anything entertaining though, Aaron. Like even if it was like mini Kamala, I mean, we'd still tune in because it's Chris Jericho. We know he's always going to do something.
I guess I would tune in out of curiosity. So yeah,
just I think there is something. That. Gosh, I don't want it to happen, but it probably will.
I don't think that Jericho could save Impact because you look at
not just a short buzz for Lamar.
I mean, they might get people tuning in. I mean, they did like. I think they were under 200,000 viewers again on Pop TV. So I think at the least he might pop the numbers up, no pun intended. Get those numbers up a little bit, maybe to 400,000, 500,000. Will it do anything for live tapings? That I don't know. I know for the show in Mexico, it's embarrassing. I watch it and they literally cram about 400 people, 400 to 500 people on one side of the building. And the rest of the building is just completely pitch black. It looks low rent.
Don't they let people in for free at Impact shows?
It's
been happening for years. They did it at
for a couple
Universal
of the recent
Studios.
ones, they were actually selling some tickets, and people were making a big deal. Oh, Bound for Glory sold out, and they sold all their tickets. Yeah, they sold like 500 tickets. Whoopsie freaking
WWE's empty house shows draw more than Impact at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. But the WWE.
But anyway,
really
that's a good topic, and we'll to be continued with Chris Jericho. He always pops into our lives when we least expect it. So now maybe we can look forward to that.
Now that it's being teased, I don't think it's going to happen. Now that there's been that hype about it, Jericho likes the surprises. So now that people think he's going to show up at Bound for Glory, is he really going to show up unless he's doing a double swerve because he thinks people think he might not show up because when it's obvious he's showing up, he doesn't, and then he does show up. So maybe it's some kind of reverse.
I kind of wish that he would, even if he was still IWGP IC champ and held that until Wrestle Kingdom next January and lost it to whoever, I would love to see him in the Royal Rumble this year, like number 25. But we don't see him in WWE at all or think about him in there at all, and it just happens. And he would have done it yet again. That's just awesome. I remember that Royal Rumble in Phoenix or in Arizona. It was so top secret. Nobody knew about it, Aaron. The internet didn't even know about it, really.
That
remember?
was a huge surprise. Everyone went nuts.
Yeah.
That was a great surprise.
But, all right, well, that's Chris Jericho. Turned into our main event today. That's all I got. Do either one of you want to bring up anything else? Because it's Sunday, and I'm ready to roll.
I think we should save some stuff for Wednesday. I mean, we've gone over an hour here.
Yep. All right, well, do your plug. TJS, I will start with you.
NoDQ.com/TJS takes you to my Facebook. You can add me there, talk about wrestling. And then, of course, Twitter.com, or just Twitter, at NoDQ_TJS. You can find my Twitter there. And NoDQ.com/shirts. Today, Aaron's not wearing a NoDQ shirt, but Virtue is. He has the NoDQ.com logo there. You can even find the retro logo there and all kinds of other shirts. They're all good. Just buy a shirt. It's a good way to support the site and Aaron, and of course spread the word. It's the best way to help. Aaron, is
that the guy that used to write Seinfeld on your shirt? Who is that?
Larry David.
Yeah, didn't he used to write Seinfeld, or one of the guys that used to write it?
He was the creator of Seinfeld.
Looks like Bernie Sanders to me. But...
Well, he did play Bernie Sanders. I guess that's the joke, right? Yeah, NoDQ.com. We got Evolution, whatever it's called, coming up in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for all the latest news and rumors regarding that. And we'll be back, I guess, with another NoDQ review on Wednesday. We've got more topics to cover, and that should be fun. I have no idea who the fourth person's going to be, but that's part of the surprise.
Mystery.
So, yeah, we gave you this extra. I don't know if this was an extra one, but, it's basically this past week's review, and then we'll be back. So, for Aaron Rift, for TJS, I am Virtue. You can follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. We will see you next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the Stat Boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeep's here. Keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show. Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from A Simple Man's Brand.
Get used to being on stream. I mean, I love Zoom too, but I can get used to this.
Yeah, plus, I don't think StreamYards is expensive.
No, it's not.
No.
But that being said, as we start our project conversation, guys, can you believe it's been less than 1 month since we last got together to talk about what the hell's been happening in the industry? After the events of Double or Nothing, we got the freaking Forbidden Door right around the corner. W's trying to make everything white and gold, more than the fear of roasted truffle. Impact Wrestling, you got freaking heelish Nick Aldis trying to reclaim the freaking Impact World Championship, and the Moisty Machine Guns run Impact Wrestling. And, of course, Pro Wrestling Noah, the freaking Congo group just broke up, and somebody's about to leave their group in Stardom courtesy of a steel cage match, or it'll tie and Queen's Crest is not going to be the same again. Why do I say all these things? Because, once again, they are all matters of all sorts of happenings in all things wrestling. So here we freaking go again. We're back together. You know what that means. And from now on going forward, we are using StreamYard. So to those that are watching, welcome once again, everybody, to another simple, impromptu ATW View. You know what this is, right? I'm the simple man, I'm the simple brand, and the voice of JMN. My name is Noah Foster. With me, as always, is my all-elite brother since day zero, the king, and the inquirer of all things news with a positive attitude. Tell you like it is.
Well, I wouldn't say positive attitude.
Well, mostly positive attitude. You bring a smile. Eric Brown. Gentlemen, again, we're upgrading as AEW upgraded Wednesday, Saturday nights. We're on StreamYard now. We are just under 24 hours away from the Forbidden Door, and we have seen a new era of AEW unfold with Collision, second time in a week now on Saturday night, and we are going to know the perception of the environment loud and clear no matter what compared to Wednesday versus Saturday nights. Before we get into tonight's discussion on all things wrestling and our primary topic, the main event, Eric, good to see you. How are you?
Metaphor.
Oh, here we go.
Fucker. Broke me last night. That's such
Broke
a dumb
us last
shit.
night.
What the fuck are you thinking, Shawn Michaels? That's such dumb shit.
What was you thinking, HBK? Come on, man. Seriously?
Did someone run him through a barbershop window? I'm just saying. The metaphor. Again. Again. Not my NXT!
Nope.
But I digress.
Oh, but I did hear something interesting about what could be the future and at All In.
Oh, do tell.
Do tell.
Well, guess who they might be bringing in to help celebrate this momentous occasion? Davey Boy Smith.
Ooh. Well, you think about SummerSlam back in 91 or
no, 92.
92.
Well, look, guys, I was 1 year off. Give me a break. I was born in 1992. All right. So I think that'd be very fitting. So I'm for it. I can't wait to see what happens with it. That being said, good to see you, Eric King. Always a pleasure. We just tested StreamYard for the first time with our Collision reactions. I don't know if we're going to go live with them anytime soon. We'll see how we feel about these things going forward. But it's always good to see you. How you feeling now that Forbidden Door, nothing is between us now between that show, but just mere hours of time.
Also, we got to remember one more thing. That next Wednesday and Thursday, we fight forever.
Yes, I almost forgot about that as the wait is finally over. And we'll, of course, talk more about that, too. But, King, how are you?
Man, always good to see y'all, fam, especially with you, Noah, as we just got done with our Collision watch along here on StreamYard. Tony, you decided to one-up yourself from last year from 13 to 14, didn't you?
He had to. He friggin' had to.
You madman. In a good way, though.
Oh, that's fair. Let's subtly talk about it, dude. All right, guys, simple stuff. Like I said, we're going to keep it simple here tonight as we usually do. So without further
Nothing's
ado,
ever simple here.
Well, I try and keep it simple, for I am the simple man. And I know you are the agent of chaos, but we're going to focus because we've only been literally gone apart for a month. We're just going to focus primarily on AEW, and we got more than enough to talk about with what's been happening lately with the inception of Saturday Night Pro Wrestling again with Collision. So without further ado, let's just get right fucking into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and first talk about the new era that has been unleashed upon us now that Saturday nights are all right for professional wrestling since this guy has come back. CM Punk has made it well known that he is not stopping anytime soon until somebody can fill those very boots that he wears around his neck last week, and that little red bag is removed from his grasp when you pick him or submit him, including what's inside of it. Tonight, we got firsthand the reception to his return outside the place he's held as a king like Michael Jordan, Chicago, in Canada, eh? And in AEW, there is no artificial filtering. There is no bullshitting. The audience is free to be who they want to be, and you hear it loud and clear, and CM Punk don't give a damn. So that being said, Eric, we haven't seen you for a little bit. Collision now. It's almost like Battle of the Worlds, Worlds Collide. It's almost like a civil war could be ensued within AEW with the fan base. What's been your thoughts with the inception of Collision and CM Punk's return?
Well, first off, Collision is basically Tony Khan's way of saying, okay, we put all the problematic elements and we collide them into one show.
Accurate.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not going to cause any meltdowns whatsoever.
I mean, hindsight's 20/20, right?
Also, speaking of CM Punk's return, at least he'll probably embrace the Bret Hart fully because he'll probably be cheered as a god in Chicago and hated everywhere else.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's a whole different dynamic when you think about one Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who, again, he's held as a king only in Long Island, New York, but the people in and out of Long Island hate and love him because they respect him for what he's brought to the ring, in and out character and wrestling dynamic. And yeah, to your point, let's look at the names that have come back. We got Miro, we got Andrade El Idolo, we got Scorpio Sky. And we have seen so far what they're trying to make this stage. Miro's saying right now, I walk alone, no God, no gold, no wife. Apparently. I had no idea. We see Scorpio Sky says, I lost myself, but now I'm finally going to show who I truly am. And you guys will see that soon enough. Thunder Rosa, unfortunately, still not cleared, but I imagine she's going to make this her center stage. And they're teasing Samoa Joe versus CM Punk finally being renewed because CM Punk's never beat Samoa Joe in one-on-one action, and that very well could be coming up literally within the next 2 weeks or so. So
I'm expecting shenanigans to stop that from happening. They need to save that for a big pay-per-view, I feel like.
I completely agree with you. I think that the pay-per-view match waiting to happen. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know necessarily if you pull the trigger on that this soon, because Ring of Honor Inception versus the Owen Outlook versus one-on-one rivalry and the storytelling thereof. I'm curious, where this could all lead to. But also, it's safe to say that Saturday nights are a whole different presentation, not just the talent, but just top to bottom. The set, the vibe, the flow, the audience, the progression, the attention, and honestly, the matches feel even more longer. They're not like rushed. It's like they literally can breathe and build to something. And Andrade and Eagle matches have personified that particularly, and the women.
Yes.
Yeah, because the women have had more TV time than they have on Dynamite, which, dang.
In different spots, might I add.
Yeah.
Now we just need more main event time.
Well, I mean, hey, if Tyler Valkyrie and Chris Statler told us anything, I think Tony Khan's finally starting to learn from his mistakes and respect women's wrestling. Damn it, but I digress. By the way, Chris Statler is so good to have her back. King, again, man, what's been your thoughts lately with Collision? 2 weekends in, how's it stack up to you versus your expectations and what you usually see on Wednesday nights?
It's basically, all I see is basically how it's different than on Wednesdays, because on Wednesdays, it's your typical AEW Dynamite, we're used to that formula of what is being ran on Wednesdays. Then it is on Collision, where it's like, didn't we have this before? Like, where it didn't feel like that sort of rushed or anything like that when AEW was first started. And then, of course, networks keep pushing down their throat and everything like that. But it's like with Collision, it's a little bit more different. Like, it feels a bit more, in my opinion, sports eccentric, especially with Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness on commentary. So
Ring of Honor represent.
So it's like more of a different pace than we're so used to on Wednesdays, and I'm loving it. Like two weekends in, and I'm still loving it. You won't hear no complaint out of me.
Well, Warner Bros. Discovery's loving it.
Yep.
I'd say, well, again, we figure about this. It was the network that gave Tony Khan this. So despite what people say about numbers, shut the fuck up. Clearly, they have a good relationship. If the network is happy with the way Tony Khan is doing business, that's all that matters. And apparently, according to what I heard, the premiere highly exceeded even the network's expectations when it came to the demographic.
For a Saturday night show.
It was
first show and almost
for a Saturday night show.
Yeah, about
and it almost
Saturday nights.
It almost drew 1 million, but it was at 800,000 to like 200,000 from being 1 million.
Yep.
That's freaking
Give
impressive.
me a second, I gotta get something.
Oh, you're fine. We're just shooting the breeze. And again, yeah, like you said, a Collision. We got the Andrade Aligalo House of Black narrative going on. They're eventually going to run back Andrade Aligalo versus Malachi Black. Andrade looking strong as ever. Have loved his return, absolutely. CM Punk, while he has been involved 2 weeks in a row in the main event, it focuses on the fact that he doesn't always have to win, as we just saw. And your Bullet Club Gold just got 2 brand new members. It also feels like Collision's given more of a chance for younger talent to be accelerated and presented. Ricky Starks, Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale, The Guns,
Sky Blue is my girl to win the Owen.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll go to that here shortly. So that being said, yeah, I'm all in, unintended, on Collision right now. And honestly, I'm not going to pick a side, but you definitely can get a different perspective from me as a fan when it comes to how I react Wednesdays versus Saturday nights. I think it's safe to say.
Speaking of Wednesday nights, Kenny Omega made an announcement on Twitter 2 hours ago.
What's Omega up to?
He was on June 26th. He's going to have a big video drop on Square Enix channel.
I bet I know what that's about. Final Fantasy. Yeah. Because Wing Angel, Sephiroth, of course. I mean, he's a Final Fantasy guy.
Sephiroth.
Oh, no, this is Final Fantasy 16, not the 7 Rebirth.
Oh, okay. That's the brand new one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the other Final Fantasy 7 remake, Rebirth, trilogy, whatever, comes out next year, and it will be on 2 discs instead of 1 because already we have to overpower the PS5.
Even the PS5 and all of its power cannot handle 1 disc of freaking Final Fantasy as a single game.
Well, actually, this one can.
For now, I'm about to say, but they're going to up the ante. Who's to say Grand Theft Auto 6 won't be 2 discs? Tell me when I'm telling lies. Guarantee you.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm surprised you two didn't ask me about how my Wednesday trip to DC Dynamite was.
Well, I wanted to talk about Collision first because I was the newest thing. But yeah, let's go ahead and get your live experience. You were back at Dynamite where it all began in the Capital One Arena for the 192nd episode. How was it?
I'm surprised they didn't go for 200. I'm surprised they didn't just wait till they got to 200.
Semantics.
Yeah, I just thought, like, why is this the 192nd episode? We go back to where it all began. It would make sense if it was a milestone episode.
Happy too freaking easy, in my opinion. And you got to consider again before we talk about our next event, what summer is going to be dedicated to before we hit the end of the summer, you know?
Yeah, so at that event, I was at Dynamite and I saw Rampage. I saw Bandito versus Konosuke Takeshita. Awesome moment. Awesome match. If Rampage was going to change its format and have it basically end, so to speak, of this era of Rampage when Collision started, that was the best way to go out. Go with Bandito versus Konosuke Takeshita.
Yeah, the friggin' son of Don Callis and his new family that became a thing after Double or Nothing. The king, calm down, tranquilo.
But yeah, the audience reaction, the audience was very engaged with the show. Like, one thing I did love is that our beloved Justin Roberts went ahead and was interacting with the crowd in between intermissions. And he even did a rock paper scissors tournament.
What?
He did a rock paper scissors tournament between one of the camera crew members and one of the audiences.
That's brilliant.
And apparently, this audience member was the same person the crew member defeated in the first tournament, so to speak. When this
I knew it. Started. He's a plant. He's a freaking plant. He came back for his revenge. Damn it! I'm just saying. That's hilarious, though. I'm not gonna lie.
The fan defeated him. Also, we got a special guest breaking into my room and won't leave.
Oh, hello, Kitty.
Oh, hi, Kitty.
This is the time where I would do a comedic throw, but I am not an animal abuser.
About to say, let's not condone that.
Let's not do that.
Respect. All right. Again, King, we've been with AEW since day 0, and since it began by the Capital Arena, you think about where it started, who was on it, versus what we saw and who was on it, and we are now nearly 4 years in to this company. It's kind of wild to say the least.
And I got to see a rare MJF match for this first time in a while.
I was saying, you saw MJF versus Adam Cole
wrestle
30-minute draw.
30-minute title.
How does that compare to your live wrestling experience as far as match quality goes and storytelling?
We were insane. We were engaged. I was engaged. I took image pictures. MJF being MJF. It's different now without the commentary. Like, the commentary in AEW is a lot better than the other place.
Yeah,
obviously.
But seeing like a mix of the new, the old, the present, like you had a WCW-esque moment where Chris Jericho and Sting have a collision together.
Oh yes,
I still can't believe that. First time ever, by the way, that's happened. First time ever.
And they were in the same company in the Monday Night Wars, but never interacted. That's crazy.
And right? They were in the same company again, and they still never interacted.
Which is crazy again.
Well, at least third time's worth the charm.
Well, I mean, yeah, they finally did it, so I mean, that's what matters, right?
Yeah, and I got to see Will Ospreay.
Yes, the comment.
Yeah, you did.
Kick Kenny Omega out of nowhere.
Yeah. Though the first thing I did, I took a picture. I was in DC, and I just said to myself, Washington, DC, you will never see a more wretched place of scum and villainy.
There's a reason why Soraya wasn't there, if we're being perfectly honest.
Yeah.
That's why she wasn't there. Just saying.
And let's see. I saw Aubrey Edwards, El Capone with the guitar. Yeah.
Oh man, that
Sadly,
was awesome.
wasn't Karen Jarrett. Everyone
Yeah,
was
that's the only thing that should have fucking happened. Damn it. I'm fine. I'm
Alright, calm, tranquilo. No.
But no, you gotta remember, Jeff Jarrett and the Jarretts are the needle movers of AEW Dynamite. They had the most viewership.
Name value and longevity aside, I will respect the Jarrett name for the fact he still goes this age in the game and actually works with the younger talent. So be it. Don't have to like it.
This is honestly the best Jeff Jarrett's been in for like probably ever.
That is a fair point.
You're not wrong. As much as I hate to say it, you're not wrong.
Like we all looked at when Jeff Jarrett joined AEW. We thought, okay, he's gonna be a backstage guy. Then he turned to TV, and everyone was like,
"Guitar smash the Max Caster."
Yeah, just whack him over the head with a guitar, because why the hell not?
Yeah, and then we thought, oh, this is gonna be a blunder waiting to happen, and then it just got over and popular, and people were loving it.
Bree woo.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's the thing. I did hear this. Noah, you might get offended by this, but there were many people in the comments and on Twitter timelines saying, Jeff Jarrett would actually should have been the one to just thrown Orange Cassidy at one point. Just because he was in the past.
I'm just gonna leave Jeff freaking Jarrett where it's lay, because as far as I'm concerned, after that concession stand brawl nonsense Chicago, it should be over. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. There were rumors going around that yes, he was going to take time off from the television side of things and go back into the backstage area, but then AEW was like, "Can we keep him around on TV?" Yes. Okay. So Jarrett and probably Karen Jarrett are sticking around.
Oh.
Keep that wretched witch off my screen. Damn it. My blood pressure.
Look, let's see, here's the thing. I said this. I'll consider Jeff Jarrett's entire run in AEW a complete success if he feuds with Eddie Kingston. You all know what I'm talking about.
I know, and Eddie Kingston, of course, is back, and we'll talk more about that with the Forbidden Door.
And also, the only way I could consider any positive comment for Karen Jarrett is this. She goes to WWE and forms the Karens with Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville.
And maybe Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville can actually get a win, since they can't win as a women's tag team, since women's tag team wrestling is still relevant. Oh, for those that don't know, by the way, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire lost the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. They have now been unified with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. This is the last chance to actually create a women's tag team division in WWE that apparently will be across all three brands, so it's said. Anyone believe that's actually going to happen?
I don't know, and I really don't care, but here's the thing.
See my thumbs?
Okay,
down.
Here's the thing about that. Remember how I showed you that link where it was revealed Charlotte took on Lacey Evans, and then the article was talking about how Charlotte is the greatest woman of all time?
Yep, I remember you telling us that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You kidding me?
Yeah, it was 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Somehow somehow they're saying, oh, well, that obviously proves Charlotte is the greatest. She defeated her in less than 3 minutes in a horrendous match that no one cared about.
Oh, of course. That just makes perfect sense.
But you want to know how long the tag team title match was for the women?
Over. I'm gonna go with over. No, I'm gonna go with under 5 minutes.
It nearly lasted for 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they. Well, it is Ronda Rousey, to be fair.
It is Ronda. Yeah, never mind. Yeah.
I'm about to say,
Yeah.
you're going to give the time for Ronda Rousey because she gets whatever she wants. If
But
Ronda,
guess what was on the dark match side?
That would be.
what?
Damian Priest fighting Matt Riddle.
Bro.
So they mean a rematch from Raw.
Yes, but not on TV because we hate you.
I mean, you can't be surprised if they don't do a match on TV because they run the same matches 24/7 times on house shows. I mean, so I guess you gotta do something different once in the blue moon, you know?
I guess you got to.
At least that's my take. All right. But yeah, Dynamite and Collision. Now I got nonstop wrestling through Wednesday through Saturday because I got Dynamite, got Ring of Honor. By the way, no one can stop Athena. What the fuck? Impact Wrestling. Give me Killer Kelly and my Slimmest as a tag team. I got Rampage. And now I got Collision on Saturday nights. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's 4 straight days of professional wrestling.
Yep.
God help us. But I'm for it. I'm all in on it. And I'm not going to pick a side. But yeah, both shows feel different. By the way, so no, JR, get well soon. I really hope he's okay.
Also, I question why he decided to go and do a show with a concussion.
Commitment is one thing, but common sense with reasoning is another. It was not wise.
What point of Tony Khan had to put his foot down to tell Kenny Omega, look, Kenny, we love you. We appreciate you having 3 titles, but you need to eventually stop and go home.
I don't know. Again, I feel Tony Khan still does not approach everything like a boss should because he is still a fan. And sometimes you have your heart versus your mind, it kind of can lead to a consequence.
So, Noah, I can tell you definitely what's a consequence.
What?
So I went and looked at the calendar. Noah, you're gonna hate the first week of January.
Yeah.
We're already talking 2024?
Yeah, let me get to that.
During that. Why would I hate that?
Wednesday, Dynamite. Thursday, Wrestle Kingdom. Ring of Honor. Impact Wrestling. Rampage. Saturday, Collision.
Ooh.
So prepare all the drugs you need to keep yourself up.
Note to self, take off the entire...
Oh, wait, there's also a possibility they can have night 2 still, if that's thrown in the table, but still.
Oh!
Note to self, take off the entire first week of January.
Okay, and well... New Year's Dash probably, too, on a Monday.
Oh!
God! That's right, the 5th's not during the same week.
Yeah, oh, great. Here we go again in 2024.
Of the year.
What we do in wrestling, all things wrestling.
Note to self.
God.
To self. Take a week off as well.
To take a week off as well, he says. All right. Well, either way, Wednesdays and Saturdays are the days for wrestling at its highest, but I still love Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor. Again, speaking of Impact, Slammiversary is right around the corner. Looking very forward to that. And as we know, this could be very interesting because WWE Superstar is taking on the Impact Knockouts World Champion for the Knockouts World Championship. Would Impact Wrestling literally give this to Trinity?
On the one hand, I can see it, but on the other, I feel like they're going to be like, okay, we could do that, but we're also Impact, and we've kind of accepted we're in a wrestling madness world, so we might not do it. We might just wait it out till Bound for Glory.
Ken, you and I talked about how much we respect the Knockouts division, the best booked women's division on the western front of the industry, outside the all-women's promotion stardom. They respect everybody, give them all stories. They flex the characters when they can. That's why they got, instead of Rosemary, Courtney Rudge, which is sick. And, of course, they literally have a diverse, dynamic division top to bottom where everybody has a role. What's been your thoughts with Trinity's inception and Impact and the fact she's challenging for the title this soon and what really is the start of her Impact Wrestling career?
Well, I did predict when we did the Impact watch along on the Zoom here a few weeks back, which was the only reason why I watched, which was because of Trinity and alone, and to let alone of the Impact I missed on Axis. I called it that she was going to get a title shot. but I didn't think it would come this early for her. But this is Slammiversary, and Slammiversary is known for making returns, debuts, and big moments.
History, of course, yeah.
Which, if just based off of that alone, yeah, Trinity, they're going. Scott D'Amore and Impact, they're going to pull the trigger. They're going to give it to Trinity this early. I feel like.
I just don't know at this point, considering Deonna Purrazzo, long may she reign, has had the title literally now for a combined 500 days in her illustrious, of course, three-time reign as Knockouts World Champion. And I know at one point there was talk about her contract as far as 2024, but her husband, Steve Macklin, did just lose the Impact World Championship in his second defense. Way less time than Josh Alexander, and now both the Military Machine Guns World Impact Wrestling. Chris Sabin, a 9-time Exhibition Champion. Alex Shelley, after 20 years, finally Impact World Champion. Alex Shelley defends the title against Nick Aldis at Slammiversary as well.
I'm pretty sure that's the reason why they're going to do it. They're probably going to have Nick
Aldis
title.
And speaking of that, you want to know why Alex Shelley won that Impact World Championship, right?
Yes.
Because he, from what Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful reported, that Alex Shelley has re-signed with Impact.
Mm-hmm. He's there for the long haul, just like Moose is also there for the long haul. I wonder if this person's there for the long haul. King's favorite
Jesus
person.
Christ!
No, Henry.
Jesus Christ! Oh, Lord have mercy.
I had to bring it up.
You just had to bring it up, didn't you?
Speaking of Impact, apparently Speedball Mike Bailey has an idea.
Oh.
For Impact Wrestling game.
Ooh.
Bring Impact back. Bring Impact back. Seriously. I missed that game.
I don't think it's a bad idea. But
he basically wants to do this. Okay, hear me out. 2K style gameplay meets Skyrim.
You can't mix those two together.
You can't do that. That's no.
Look, Kenny Omega made Molotov cocktails happen in a teen-rated game. I think anything's possible.
And plus he's an anime fan, and he did the Ginyu Force animation on the Fight Forever game.
Oh, there is another animation from the anime world in the game.
What?
Fusion.
Fusion.
Ah.
Yeah.
All you're just waiting now is some way that Kenny Omega goes Super Saiyan.
Oh, don't worry. I'm pretty sure he'll try that or go Street Fighter.
So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Fight Forever. The wait's finally over. Fight Forever is at our fingertips, literally within less than a week, and so far, it truly feels like a comfortable throwback where it's just have fun with a wrestling game. It combines the likes of No Mercy with the elements of SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, and Shut Your Mouth, two of my favorite games ever. So I'm looking very forward to this with the dynamic of the mini games and the career mode. I think the only thing right now that I'm curious about is match quantity, because the amount of match types here, it does still feel limited to a degree, even with exploding barbed wire, which is also fucking ridiculous. If you look at Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello, by the way, congrats to the happy couple on their baby coming up. All the best. And it's a baby girl. So again, all the best, especially versus what happened with Penelope Ford. I'm just glad that she's okay. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I have not bought a wrestling video game since SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 because the 2K series just didn't do it for me. I kind of fell out of the genre, so this actually might bring me back because it doesn't feel like that cookie cutter play-by-play, same as the day, plastic as ever, wrestling as video games.
2K, the new 2K games ever since 2K20 kind of nearly killed the franchise completely.
Though I've heard 23 has been a bounce back for it.
Yeah, especially since they stole your Simple Man gimmick for a Twitter comment on the GM mode.
I mean, to be fair, I may be the Simple Man, but I'm not the only Simple Man in this world, so it is what it is. Besides, I got a good enough job working in IT. I don't live for money. I just live long enough to provide for my family, despite how much I'm pissed off at them at times, and live for wrestling. But that's a whole different story. King, your fun. Go.
I was also going to mention, like I've been hearing again, they're saying that this is going to be basically what everyone thinks a live service game should be, where we release DLC, we release characters instead of making a game year by year by year by year by year. And if it does well, they'll make it a franchise.
I think that's a smarter move versus just making people buy a whole new game, because I look at Nintendo, by the way, Adam Cole and Britt Baker. They actually went on a tour of Nintendo World Headquarters. Again, being an avid gamer, I'm sure it was an incredible moment for Adam Cole. But that being said, I think that's a smarter strategy and a more budget-friendly strategy to the consumer than just bringing out a new game each year, considering next-gen games digitally are $70 standard. What the fuck?
Well, if I can explain that, it's actually quite simple why they did that.
Why?
You got to have money.
Exactly. That being said,
the thousands of microtransaction users weren't enough.
Well, I mean, look at Mario Kart. They didn't make a new video game. They just brought out redesigned courses every quarter, and people are buying that like hotcakes, and it feels like a new video game. By the time they're done, you literally will double the tracks in the Mario Kart game, and I'm pretty sure Mario Kart is still the best-selling game of all time for Nintendo Switch. Although Zelda might give it a run for its money, because I've heard incredible things about Tears of the Kingdom, which I do need to get.
Oh, don't worry. Nintendo also charged that $70 now.
Go figure. Everything's going to go up. 2024, games will be $80. Mark my words.
I don't want to wish that into existence.
No.
Guys, it's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. This is the economy.
Okay, Paul Heyman.
This is not EC3, but this is the top 1% of the world that dictates everything. Fuck them. Anyway, King, your thoughts on Fight Forever now that it's finally here. I know that you pre-ordered it, and you can't wait to start playing it. And by the way, Cindy, Lex, and you all need to stop that with the fact that she's DLC. Anyway, go ahead, King. Your thoughts on Fight Forever.
First of all, we're not going to stop thinking about that. We're going to leave that on until Wednesday. But nonetheless, this game has been, it has went through development, more development, and then we thought we were going to get the game released. We had a setback. Thank you, GCW.
We also had COVID.
I'll say that was not the only setback. Let's just put it out there.
Actually, there were like 3 different setbacks. One was the COVID virus. Damn you all. The second one was THQ and Ukes being a little fighting with Kenny Omega over the production of the game, and Kenny being psychopathic.
Right.
And then it was GCW.
So yeah, we had setbacks.
Domino effect, like the arcade Mortal Kombat. Continue.
Development, setback, and now we're here. I just can't wait to play this on day one. As in, I will already have the game ready to download on Monday, but won't be able to be playable until late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. Yes. So, because I got the Elite Edition.
Yeah, of course you did.
So, the gameplay I've already seen. I'm pretty sure you have, Eric, as well. Have already seen gameplay highlights on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. The gameplay looks All Elite Arcade too. The gameplay has been what I expected it to be, and it does fit that, No Mercy to Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth, Smatter versus Raw vibes. That's exactly what it needs to be brought back in this wrestling generation. Like this current generation of wrestling fans that, people like us have already experienced, that needs to be brought back. Because what 2K is doing, 2K is producing great numbers and everything, but they still got bugs to fix, especially with community creations and everything else like that.
At least they got rid of the limiter for the community creations download.
That is true. They did get rid of that, in which I am hoping when it comes to, since with AEW Fight Forever, they're going to build off this game for years and years and years, that we're going to get more matches and we're going to get more. They're basically, and then plus, of course, with seasons, they're going to go with everybody because everybody else does seasons. Call of Duty does seasons. Fortnite does seasons.
No, that game comes out every year, so that shouldn't count.
I'm about to say
Fortnite,
each year.
NBA 2K. Yeah, they come up with, so basically we're going to get season passes and everything like that. And of course, I've seen their item shop. Oh yeah, if this game does be successful, watch 2K copy that same mechanism.
It's not just wrestling that's the rivalry; it's the freaking video game industry now that's in a rivalry. Good grief almighty! What are you most excited to play first in the game, though, King? You gonna do the My Elite Rise to Elite career mode? You gonna do like exhibitions? Go do a mini game? What are you gonna do first?
The first match I'm gonna do is the match that, well, everybody wants. Everybody wants to see it since these two have, men fences, but not. I can't say for the rest of the parties involved. Punk and Omega.
There's
Fair
so
enough.
hopefully you include a steel chair.
Damn. Can't do that in a normal match. You get a disqualification, but you got more than enough
Oh,
gimmicks.
please. Kenny Omega will bring the Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, or bring out the table. Okay, of course.
Well, I know what match I'm going to do to start this off.
Let me guess. Exploding barbed wire death match?
Oh, no. We are going to get, for the first time ever, the first ever glimpse of the world we'll see, Wrestling Valhalla. Owen Hart versus Brody Lee.
Oh my god.
Oh my
That
goodness.
sounds incredible. Again, both, of course, are in the game amongst this huge roster of current AW talent and previous AW talent, including Cody Rhodes.
Which I think somebody needs to have a talk with 2K, because if AEW can get Kingdom, how come WWE 2K can't do it? And of course, people.
Here's what I'm pretty sure what happened.
Wait, W2K video game doesn't have Kingdom.
Nope,
Cody
it
Rhodes?
doesn't.
That's
It
so
doesn't.
Nope, it doesn't.
stupid.
Okay, so basically, if you were to try to create an alternate attire for Cody and use it, it doesn't work.
That's stupid.
Well, here's what I think they also did. I think Tony Khan went to WWE HQ, said to Vince, "There's only Kingdom in my game."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We all know.
But there is a thing in the game that one of our ATW buddies, Casey, discovered, and I was like, "Why the hell did you put that in there?"
What Eric is talking about, Noah, is diverticulitis, and
it's modeled using the F5.
It's modeled using the F5, and if you know your history with Brock Lesnar, that's what got him to retire from UFC. Nearly died.
That is not a difficulty bearer or an attribute effector. That's just downright wrong.
Yeah, I was just like, wait, why did you include why did you call it diverticulitis?
And I've seen people try,
but why even call it that?
But I've seen people try to defend it of saying, "Oh, Kevin Steen used this as his finisher. He used the name as a finisher." And I get your point as well, but when it comes to a life-threatening situation like that,
somewhere.
Well,
draw the line.
Here's the thing. Kevin Steen, all those years ago, was probably just being young, edgy, and stupid.
Right.
This is a $10 million investment video game of a multi-billionaire and major companies and a rebirth of THQ and Ukes.
Not a wise move. That's
not a wise move. Still not a wise move.
Really hope that gets corrected sooner rather than later.
Oh, also, there is something else I found out. When you create the wrestlers, they make an all-elite graphic for it.
Yes, they do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And also
the created wrestlers.
Oh, I can only imagine how many people are going to give us the YouTube.
And also one team name.
Superstar, male or female. Continue.
And also I seen on team names, I saw two names that were involved. The first one is Blood and Guts, which is really not a team. That's an event. So expect Blood and Guts to be involved in the match here pretty soon on probably post-launch or DLC.
I can see that as DLC, personally.
But the second name, I feel like it's probably going to interpret of what we're mainly going to talk about of this ATW View impromptu. Golden Lovers.
Okay. Okay. Well, Collision showed us anything tonight with the meet and great choices. Okay, red herring. ... I see what you're trying to do.
Okay. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, you're good. I see what you're trying to do here, but again, so bottom line, congratulations to Kenny Omega, AEW, Aubrey Edwards. I cannot wait to play this. This is definitely going to be purchased on my July paycheck because right now, got to take care of some personal matters.
Also, guys,
can't wait to play
there
this.
is
And we're
something I
definitely
found out
going to
about
create.
the AEW game.
We're definitely going to create ATW game out of this too. But Eric, you have a thought before we move on?
Yeah. One of the people who got a preview of the AEW game, so they came out with something about the creator wrestler stuff.
Yeah.
So because the Elite were like, okay, we got a lot of good faith, we built something up. We need to do a Nintendo move, but not as dumb, but still pretty dumb. Newly created wrestlers won't be strong enough to compete with the established talent. You have to train them first in Road to Elite.
Oh, great. So that was true. That I've heard that was a rumor all along, so it is true.
Probably, yeah.
No cheat code there. You can't make somebody as good as Kenny Omega.
So it's basically we're going to go the route of SmackDown versus Raw and all of that. Yeah.
Well, I'm like, it could be worse. It could definitely be worse.
They probably expected people, though, to focus on the actual roster itself. And if you want to truly be elite, you work for it. So I kind of can understand why they did this, bro. Because this is not new.
Like, let's be real. People want to do Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega already.
Yeah, well, they got a great Roman
Reigns. By the way, that reminded me. They even included Roman Reigns' fist in entrance.
Yep, along with AJ Styles' entrance, Finn Balor's, Io Shirai's, Rey Mysterio's, just to name a few.
Yeah.
Oh, and Shinsuke Nakamura's too.
You can't own an entrance, so there you go.
Yeah, and I was just like, I know you want to do Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns so badly, Elite, but come on, we know WWE's not going to allow that.
No,
well, of course they ain't.
Until you come to our turf.
Everybody in WWE is forbidden to interact with the outside world that is not connected with WWE in any form of wrestling, even if you support those in wrestling. Again, speaking of which, good to see Liv Morgan back.
That did remind me of something. The New Day committed sacrilege.
What?
The New Day. The Xavier said, it would be cool. We could do a 6-man tag team match with the Elite. That'd be damn awesome and whatnot. I'm like, well, you're screwed. You just ruined the rest of your remaining time in WWE, probably.
Maybe they're,
Maybe that was done by design on their part because they know they want to.
Everybody wants to see freaking Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods, if nothing else, because you've seen them in the Capcom tournament.
But you want to know what I think they might do, interestingly, for the game, if they do it?
What?
What if Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara uses it in their feud?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and this might be totally destructive. Chris Jericho goes under the ring in the game and pulls out a plastic baby doll and starts wailing Sammy with it.
Yeah, because let's not forget the weapons are randomized. So whenever you go underneath the ring...
I'm technically referencing that implying that Chris Jericho says he's going to take Sammy's baby and beat him with it. Because dark.
Well, I mean, you got to be dark, right? Got to be darker than Raw Underground. Or the last hour of Raw that used to be with the black and white lighting.
Oh, that was disgusting too.
Yeah, well, again, WWE right now, they're trying to turn everything white and gold with the brand new titles that are Frio Rocha rappers because Raw's become the world heavyweight brand, while SmackDown's become the undisputed brand. Whatever the fuck that means. So, take that for what you will. All right, and other things, again, changes in Stardom factions are coming up here pretty damn soon. Impact Wrestling, we're on the road to Slammiversary, and Scott D'Amore is in action. What the fuck? In his hometown. Team Canada.
Oh, yeah, Scott D'Amore is going to team up with somebody to fight Bully Ray.
And Steve Macklin. He's teaming up alongside PCO.
Yeah.
Slammiversary, King. You did say it yourself.
Yeah, that is true.
Just forget company. And, of course, Ring of Honor, they have... freaking Athena, the unstoppable force of women's wrestling right now. She survived the Chicago Street Fight against Kara Hogan. And Athena has said now this women's division needs to step up or step out because someone needs to truly test her further than anybody else has since she's won the title at Final Battle. And, of course, Clark Noyes still bring up our world champion. Samoa Joe still Ring of Honor Pure Champion, or excuse me, no, Castration Bottoms Ring of Honor Pure Champion, which is fucking phenomenal. Samoa Joe still Ring of Honor Television Champion. The Embassy still Ring of Honor 6-man Tag Team Champions. And of course, the For Dishonor is right around the corner in July. So that's just some other stuff going on in wrestling. NXT, not my NXT! But I digress. For some reason, Seth Rollins took on Braun Breaker. And they're trying to make NXT a third brand. Again.
After they tried to cripple it and put it back to developmental, then they try to retcon the past by saying, oh, they were always on developmental. I definitely never say it was the third brand. Triple H said this.
And I quote, boobie-doo, boobie-doo. Good Lord. Well, again, WWE, logic, you can't put the two in the same sentence. That's why Cody Rhodes will not finish the story, and he's facing Dominic at Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Oh,
and if we all recall, this is like the third or fourth month Roman isn't defending the world title.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
And he has now passed Pedro Morales.
1,074 days plus with a red, blue, and yellow strap.
Yeah, why does he still have the 3 belts? I know. I read that
because they want to keep it like the lineage of the Universal Championship going. That's the reason why they want to keep 3 belts.
Then why not just update your website and say that instead of treating everyone like they're idiots?
Because
this is WWE. They're talking. This is WWE we're talking about.
I was say kids will buy into anything. Hey yo. That being said, yeah, Charlotte Flair's back, and she's going to get her 17th title probably by Money in the Bank.
No, I don't think she has a match at Money in the Bank. That's next week on SmackDown.
But here's the thing. One of two things is going to happen. It's going to end in disqualification, or Asuka loses to Charlotte again.
Because Bianca was told she's banned from ringside, so they're probably going to do some shit.
So Charlotte is going to win her 17th
title. Or Bianca's going to somehow still screw them up.
Exactly. Disqualification, triple threat, Money in the Bank, Charlotte wins, then somebody catches in on her. She gets the 17th title, and then we get a new women's champion. It's the same old story. But I digress. All right. So that was a quick rundown of WWE, which again is very underwhelming. But I will say this, like King alluded to on our last Zoom, this Bloodline Civil War is probably the only lifeline of WWE interests we have left in this company, because now it is the Usos taking on younger brother and cousin. But yes, you're right, Eric. Once again, the titles are now on the line. But I think this is going to lead to Jey Uso or Jimmy Uso versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the title.
Okay, now here's another question. Do you really think they're going to have Roman lose to one of the Usos?
No,
no, of course not.
Sikoa gets pinned.
Yeah, Solo's going to get pinned, and that's what Roman's going to get furious about that, and he's going to take his frustrations out.
No. Do you really think Roman's going to drop the title at SummerSlam?
Oh, no.
They're gonna hold out till WrestleMania because they're still holding out for.
If you all recall, there was actually rumors about what they plan to do.
Yeah, keyword though, rumors. And they changed on the spot.
The rumor being, oh no, we're not gonna wait till WrestleMania 40 to drop the title. We're gonna wait till the summer so he can overthrow Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, because Hulk Hogan needs to be forgotten apparently.
When it comes crashing down, and it hurts inside.
Would have been lost.
Imagine CM Punk one day just coming out to Real American. What sort of message would that send?
I mean, he did do the Hulk Hogan mannerisms tonight, brother.
Oh, and Christian Cage said, I left in a bad mood.
Now I'm in a worse mood.
Now I'm in a worse mood. I can't stand. They're burying every sports team possible in Toronto. Damn.
He's not wrong. As a sports fan, as a sports fan in this ATW family, besides Cindy and Lex, he's not wrong. I mean, he's not wrong.
All right, fair enough. Let's go ahead and talk about the Owen, because once again, since we are talking about Canada, AEW for the second year in a row is once again honoring the late great Owen Hart. Not only is he in Fight Forever, very curious how his moveset works, but we once again have another men and women's tournament, and your host their bracketology contest, King. Now, we talked about verbatim when it came to Owen Hart. He was a young guy, underappreciated for his talent, that was world championship caliber, but never got there. But he made sure to let you all know he was the conversation, he was the talk, he was the best there was the best there ever will be, etc., etc. And so here we are with both Owens tournaments. As we know, the women's Owens has been underway, and Sky Blue and Willow have both advanced. We'll see soon enough when we talk about Forbidden Door, Phoenix Billy Starks. And last year's finals is an opening match next week, Wednesday, in Tiebreaker DMD versus Ruby Soho. In my personal opinion, both these Owens need to have a fresh, bright, up-and-coming, rising professional wrestler win this, because that goes to the tribute of Owen and his rising success. And while I don't think they'll use the Owen as a bragging right, because Adam Cole and Tiebreaker DMD didn't use that last year, this should lead to a huge amount of respect and better opportunities. But I still say out of this entire bracket, Sky Blue needs to win this. But I think it's going to be Sky Blue versus Athena. Eric, we haven't talked at all about the Owen. What's your thoughts on this year's Women's Owens tournament?
Look, last year, Martha got her moment. She got to feel a sense of closure with Owen after all that time because Tony bought an extra hour because he actually wanted to be generous about it.
Which that time I can respect.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it burned our collective senses due to the fact that we had to sit through nearly past midnight.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, continue.
I'm still saying Ricky Starks and Sky Blue. They're going for an underdog story with Ricky Starks, saying, oh, you're the loser. You're the one who always loses. You're not going to amount to anything. You're always going to come up short. And, oh, wait, I'm pretty sure Owen Hart was treated like that.
Right. I mean, heck, Owen Hart and Bret Hart
And
had
Sky
that
Blue, well, let's be real. She's been on a rise lately. We might as well go strap the rocket to her.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely did on the Collision premiere. I mean, she got the win in the tag match on Ruby Soho, so it'll be poetic to run back Ruby Soho and Sky Blue and get the win one-on-one. Because Outcast versus Ridgel is still on right now.
Forbidden Door. I know we haven't talked about Forbidden Door completely yet, but we almost had Mercedes Moné.
I know, we know. I know.
But there might still be hope. She might go all in and fight Saraya.
I still think Mercedes Moné has one AEW appearance in her before the end of this year, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But I definitely agree with you on both fronts. As we looked at the women's one, I definitely agree about Sky Blue. And as far as the men's, yeah, at this point, why CM Punk, this is one thing he wanted to do. You got to consider if they run back CM Punk and Samoa Joe, I think history's still going to hold up. Or CM Punk gets screwed by Samoa Joe, or even Switchblade Jay White for that matter, because I don't think they're far from done with each other either. That's another person he wants to work with. And then on the other side, we saw Ricky Starks overcome Powerhouse Hobbs when Team Taz basically disintegrated, shorter than the main event Mafia, just saying. And I do think Ricky Starks right now is the guy that absolutely deserves this. King, do you echo the same sentiments?
I do, which I do see CM Punk and Ricky in the finals. And I see Sky Blue and Athena in the finals. Now, as far as, who wins it, I agree with Sky Blue. But as far as the men's, it's a toss-up. Because it's like, if you have Punk and Ricky, if you telling Ricky with the story of being the underdog and all that, of course, it's going to be Ricky. But with the way that Punk been back, and since then, it's like, man, I gotta go with Ricky, but I have a gut feeling it's gonna be Punk, just because of who he wrestles. I mean, who he gets the style of wrestling from. That's the brother of Owen.
Where's the pink and black? And let's keep in mind the
finals. Also, what do you think is going to happen on the next Collision with MJF showing up?
Yeah, wrestling debut. So
wrestling debut.
They didn't say what capacity though. And let's not forget, there's a blind tag tournament going on right now. Only one team's known. They will be the next #1 contenders for FTR's AEW Tag Team Championships. And the first team,
shut up, Shivani.
Yeah, Adam Cole, baby, and MJF, who are both in action at Forbidden Door, and MJF's defending the World Championship. Can they coexist? They might not get the chance to even try and coexist.
Nope.
Oh no! Don't worry, Adam Cole. I'm coming for you.
He should have done the Jeff Hardy dance.
He's not going to do that. But yeah, it is one of those things where it's like you gotta consider CM Punk and MJF in the same building.
Yeah.
On a Saturday. Well, not for us because
we all know the real main event. We know the Elite and CM Punk will be together for the first time in months at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, everything's going to be underneath the same building. So, yeah, I think these Owens are kind of, well, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but I just feel like Sky Blue, Ricky Starks, they're your best contenders to go with. And with the Owen concluding in Owen Hart's hometown of Calgary, CM Punk's going to get fucking booed out of the building if he wins that shit.
He is.
You heard
really
what
is.
Canada was tonight to the straight edge Second City Saint. Saying.
God, I just had a realization. What if CM Punk defeats Ricky Starks using a Bret Hart move and not an Owen Hart move?
Oh.
And he will do that too. He will.
He will, and that's what's so accurate about that. He will do that.
Well, again, we're gonna have to wait and see as the Owen commences at Forbidden Door. Before we get into that, also we know G1 Climax is coming up. We got Katsuki and Mia Perez Noah involved. We got Eddie Kingston, first time ever involved. We got Okada defending his streak of 2 wins in a row as a 3-time winner, and a bunch of young blood in the brand new Bullet Club led by David Finlay. Sorry, King. On the New Japan side of things. And 4 blocks of 8, once again. Pretty crazy stuff here, as you can see by this. I can't wait till they run back. Ishii versus Kingston. Let's freaking go. And, of course, Okada and Will Ospreay will be run back as well. Last year's G1 Climax Finals, Born in the Ring. So I'm looking very forward to all that. Fuck Yano. So stay tuned, folks, for me and Casey's coverage on that. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about our reason why we're here tonight. And that is, once again...
Well, there is one more thing I want to mention.
Go ahead.
It was revealed in the interview in a press call that Tony Khan said, I am tempted to do a G1 style tournament.
Oh, God.
And I was like, you have a tag team division. You can do that.
Maybe that's the blind tag tournament idea?
No, I refuse to acknowledge that. I'm talking about all the established tag teams. We got over 30
That's fair.
tag teams.
That's fair. I mean, they still got to build the perfect trio to counter the House of Black and claim the trios championships. Just saying.
Yeah. Though, if you want to establish the trios team to dethrone the House of Black, which should be a long ways away.
You would hope.
Let's see. I would say, just for the hell of it, we get Pac, Andrade, and Claudio Castagnoli, referencing NXT days.
NXT Trinity. That's a Triforce that actually will work probably for a moment. But anyway. All right, guys, let's go ahead and briefly talk about the Forbidden Door before we conclude this condensed ATW impromptu. Nice timing, by the way. So, again, Tony Khan, fucking madman. 14 matches. We are not talking about all 14 because some of these I'm like, why? It almost feels like a road to show on New Japan Pro Wrestling because you got LIJ, Los Ingobernables de Japón, taking on the United
Empire.
The United Empire. You got the Mogul Embassy taking on Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, Roppongi Vice, and El Desperado. That's random as shit. You got Stu Grayson taking on ELP. And then you got the only match that matters for me in the 0 hour, again with the Owen, Athena versus Billy Starks, in which I'm hoping that Billy Starks shows me a new side of craziness considering how bright this upcoming, super heavily booked, independent rising star is against a seemingly unstoppable fallen goddess in Athena. This might as be called Athena's tournament. So all I gotta say is Billy Starks, good luck to you. Love the pink line, by the way, King. Not much to say about that. Then we got, who's got bread? Because we got, of course, in the men's side of things. Yeah, you're right, Eric. You're right, King. CM Punk, The Elite, Kenny Omega, everybody's involved on Forbidden Door in matches. It starts with this. Why do I feel like CM Punk and Social GM is going to be one of the earlier matches on this show in a first time ever encounter? And of course, there was
let me take a wild guess of the match placement for this.
Go for it.
It's going to be the second match.
You picked the second match, huh?
Yeah, because they're going to tease Punk and MJF staring each other down.
Oh, yeah. So you think MJF and Tanahashi going to open up the show?
Oh, no, they confirmed it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did. They did.
Gotta say, you do realize what MJF did say. So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this. Hiroshi Tanahashi, the guy that coined the term Forbidden Door, will we see him humble the devil to a degree. Because when the lights are on bright and it's the biggest stage and the biggest chance, the ace rarely misses. But MJF is the guy that always says he is better than you, and you know it. The funny thing is, what could he beat Tanahashi with? Could he just do a simple Boston Crab, or the Lion Tamer, like Jericho did at Wrestle Kingdom? How does MJF embarrass Tanahashi in his own opinion? What's your expectations of this match, guys? Especially with the fact that, again, it is the same night where you got to consider MJF is going to try and send a message to CM Punk. Maybe put Tanahashi to sleep.
Well, I think I know where they might go with this.
Go ahead.
So there is word going around that New Japan Pro Wrestling is now looking at Hiroshi Tanahashi and it's like, you're our top guy. You will always be our top guy, but you're no longer worthy of protecting anymore at this age of your career in major matches. So which means MJF could actually pick up a clean win.
That would be phenomenal, especially considering
That
he's
would
teaming
be-
alongside Adam Cole, who's been calling him a coward.
Right.
And of course, Adam Cole be taking on Filthy Tom Lawler. That's even more random. Not much to say really about that, though. But yeah, and again, we did talk about the last time MJF got a clean win, pun intended, clean win, was probably the very first episode of Dynamite against Brandon Cutler when he was just the typical heel, but he was still Cody Rhodes' best friend. King, your thoughts on this AEW Championship match?
Tanahashi will beat some respect in the MJF. Like that, I do see happening because, with MJF calling NJPW an indie-fed Japanese promotion, which, of course, that's disrespectful in my opinion. But with Tanahashi, like I said, Tanahashi will beat some respect in the MJF, but in the end, MJF is going to get a clean win, whether that be like a Fujiwara armbar salt of the earth or just a clean pinfall.
Also, I wanted to ask, what did you all think of his match with Swerve?
That was pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Well, there is word about
Hiroshi
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
What's up?
Apparently, he is severely banged up more than usual, and his knees are worse than ever, which is different than he was a year ago.
We did see that when it came to when he came up with the high fly flow. So we kind of instantly he almost lost his balance.
Yeah, and you want to know what he wants to do next after Forbidden Door?
Oh no! What?
Not only will I be in the G1 Climax, I will outperform Kenny Omega by main eventing All In.
Oh, Tanahashi.
I mean, it's great that you want to be at All In, but no, not the main event spot. No.
And again, Tanahashi's the guy now that gives back to the industry, and I can respect that.
I will say this. I will say this. Imagine the Being the Elite episode where Kenny Omega reacts to the fact that he was told by somebody, you do realize Hiroshi Tanahashi is the main event. He's closing the show. How do you think Kenny would react on the show?
I think his mentality's already screwed up enough as it is after Don Callis driving him in the head. And we'll talk more about
pretty
that
sure
later.
he would go back to his 2020 phase when 2020 phase where he was hogging all the toilet paper.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, have you seen BT and the way how he drinks out of a water bottle as a late? That man's crazy.
Well, he also said the Bloodline storyline is better than the epic multi-layer, multi-promotional saga that is the Elite and the Golden Lovers.
Give credit credit's due, I guess, for a 3-year campaign versus a longer legacy. And humor it. I don't know. But yeah, as we talked about, just a quick little rundown. Adam Cole takes on Filthy Tom Lawler for the first time
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole.
Gotta go with Adam Cole. Tetsuya Naito is making his AEW debut alongside Sting and Darby Allin against the Suzuki Gods and Sammy Guevara. I see Sammy leads Chris Jericho at the Forbidden Door.
Sammy is going to lead the JAS and Jericho and JAS in general, and of course Darby, Sting, and Naito.
Yeah, I mean, because Sting. The only thing that's for sure about Sting, he doesn't lose on pay-per-view.
Of course. Right.
Oh no, that's not the only thing to be certain of. The only other thing to be sure of is that he will dive and he will go crazy about it.
And he's 63 years old and he still wrestles like he's late 20s, early 30s, just like Dustin.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Ric Flair is jealous that Sting is in a better place of him wrestling than him.
Yeah, considering he's got.
Because Sting takes care of himself. Obviously.
Yeah, well, again, you have a stronger moral code, and you see what happens to you. Speaking of having a stronger moral code, whether you're whatever or not, guys, 25th time, has he finally ran out of juice? Does Orange Cassidy lose the AEW National Championship? Might I add, this title was first named the All Legend Championship and was debuted and crowned inaugurally at Forbidden Door last year, before it was leveled up after Pac lost the title to Orange Cassidy in the third time ever singles encounter in Canada, How fitting. And we're back in Canada with Orange Cassidy as champion now, 1 year later at Forbidden Door, in the same scenario that the title was literally contested under.
Okay, I just have an opinion. I think I know how the meeting went when they pitched this.
Go for it, because Jesus.
Zack Sabre Jr., well, I can't lose. I'm the current TV champion. Shibata, well, I can't lose. I'm the pure champion. And Orange Cassidy, well, I can't lose. I'm the most popular actor in AEW. Daniel Garcia. ... I'm the fall guy, aren't I? Yes, you are.
I usually do say in multi-person matches, you have buffer, you have fall guy, but that's usually triple threat. Here you got 2 buffers and 1 fall guy, because let's just call it what it is. Zack Sabre Jr. has defended the NWA World Television Champion since becoming the inaugural champion now, I believe, over 11 successful times. And originally I thought it was going to be him versus Orange Cassidy one-on-one, but also he's teased the idea of facing Samoa Joe for our television championship to be crowned the ultimate king of television. Now, I don't know how long the timeline would be. That's a whole different story. Since Katsuya Shibata took Wheeler Yuta to school, literally, at the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view and claimed our pure champion, he's been unstoppable and has not used a single rope break yet in a Ring of Honor Pure Rules Championship match. Orange Cassidy has done everything possible, from pin, orange punch, beach break, trap pin, grab tights, even against Swerve, which he thought was the most likely candidate. Has successfully defended this title under multi-person and single circumstances against everybody in and out of AEW, including Katsuya Shibata and Daniel Garcia, now successfully 24 times in less than a year. And then you have Daniel Garcia, who learned how to do a dance called the Woo, and is still calling himself the best pure technical sports entertainer, although I feel like his confrontation with Katsuya Shibata, he suddenly remembers I'm still a pro wrestler. The oh my god, what the fuck moment for me would be if Daniel Garcia wins, to the point I will woo next time on the All Elite stream. I just don't see Daniel Garcia winning. I can't. I fucking can't. With that being said, Orange Cassidy, that means he goes 25? Are you kidding me? When does Pac show up? Do we get Pac versus Orange Cassidy at all?
Look, listen, I've called it. If Orange Cassidy somehow, some way retains that international championship, it becomes 25-0. There's only one guy who has not challenged for that title, and hopefully he gets his visa issues taken care of. Roosh.
Fair enough. Odalisco came up short, and Preston hasn't challenged for it.
Oh, no. You know what they're probably going to think of doing?
What?
They could do this.
It's not going to be Andrade.
The man of 1,000 deadly of the orange kicks, taking on the best bout machine in Mortal Kombat. The entire world will be destroyed.
Oh, God.
Oh, my.
Oh, please, remember, Orange Cassidy was a world title contender at one point.
Again, triple threat.
That is true.
And you realize Don Callis did screw Orange Cassidy out of the title, and Kenny got the victory over him.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, and again, he just rolled up him and escaped that match. That was at Double or Nothing 2021. So, again, semantics, but yeah, the fact that it was just thrown together as a 4-person instead of 2 separate matches, I thought it was going to be Shibata versus Garcia for our pure championship, and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy one-on-one. Orange Cassidy lost last year against Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door for the IW United States Heavyweight Championship. Came this close to winning it. He's coming in as champion in a fatal 4-way dance. Yeah, he's not losing the title. I just don't see him losing the title. And if Daniel Garcia wins, expect a rant.
No. You can't take back the promise. We have it live on tape.
We have it live on the ATW View, first time on StreamYard. You cannot take it back, and you made this promise to me for a week and a half now. So you can't take it back now.
I'm a man of my word, but it ain't going to happen. I'll tell you that much. Oh, God. Woo! Chastity, please, love of God, win this shit. Okay. All right. Now, let's go ahead and briefly talk about this match, because after Sonata reset himself and finally wiped himself clean and decided to be actually leading a team instead of being part of a team, he now comes in as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, defending against AEW.
Sonata.
It's Sonata. Jungle Boy gonna turn heel afterwards.
I mean, after Sonata buried the man, even though he gave a Dragon Sleeper to Doki on Rampage, he says, I have no knowledge of Jack Perry. It's sad to see someone like that challenge for the IWGP. Is an open challenge really that easy to decide? It's the IWGP. I think it's worth more than the AEW Championship. Almost teases the idea that maybe they run Sonata versus MJF one day, considering both men and the proverbial chip they have. Is it me, or since Sonata joined just 5 guys, he's kind of developed this attitude that Taiji has seen in him, but he was the guy to bring it out of him? You know?
Yep, I have seen it, because when he was in LIJ, he was just, cold. Like, as in, cold skull. Well, ever since
if you were to, I'm pretty sure if you were to describe Sonata, I think you would say, we have Sonata. Okay, who's that?
Unless you remember him as the Great Sonata from
He's
TNA.
our cannon father guy, right?
That's one way of putting it.
It is.
When Joe by Jeff Perry called Hook his best friend, that was enough right there to tell me, he's turning heel. He's becoming desperate. He's almost becoming, dare I say it, Christian Cage-esque. Think about it.
And it's like Christian Cage brought this out of him, and he has, and now it's gotten to a point to where ever since Double or Nothing, ever since that AEW World Championship title shot and he lost it, he wants championship. He wants gold again.
He had the smoking gun in hand under legal circumstances. Him and Page last year against CM Punk in a twist of consciousness while the ref was down, cost the championship in front of the ref in a failed 4-way encounter where he could have used it. Jungle Boy didn't do it. MJF said, you could be like me, but you lack the killer instinct. Why don't you just sit along the side of the throne of the devil? Joe Jack Perry didn't want to do that.
Oh God, just that realization.
Prevented Joe Jack Perry winning the title. Yes, Eric?
Oh God, what if Jungle Boy decides to really embrace being a jungle guy and be the new Planet's champion?
Ignorance.
Ignorance.
Like, remember, Miz also said that Bryan lacked killer instinct, and look what happened to Bryan in WWE at the end.
Jesus, he transformed to the Planet's champion and redesigned the WWE World Heavyweight title and made it an eco-friendly WWE World Heavyweight title.
It was a belt that Matt Riddle would have loved.
Bro. By the way, congratulations to Gunther, who is approaching even closer to being the Honky Tonks record, and he should, because he's been the best Intercontinental Champion since the Miz in 2016. There, I said it. All right, let's go ahead and keep on moving from there. Again, Joe Jack Perry, time to develop an attitude. Attitude. Maybe he goes after the FTW Championship. Hook versus Joe Jack Perry.
I've been calling it ever since he's been having them little heel mannerisms. I called it.
Yeah, maybe Hook will actually give us more words this time. Maybe call him you fucker. hey, he's FTW, F the world, just saying.
You ain't wrong.
Well, again, I love women's wrestling. I wish they got Stardom like Julia or even Momoko go involved. But King, I know she's your girl.
Or Mercedes Moné, but sadly injuries happened.
And that too. And now we're stuck with this double-edged sword where while Willow advanced the Owen, she's going after a women's world championship while she already is a women's champion. One of these two champions is eating a pinfall decision, thus making the championship look weaker.
You already can tell by my lighting. I go with Tony, but it's sad circumstances because I like Willow too.
Let's be real. Props to Willow Nightingale holding the title, but let's be real. We all know she wasn't supposed to win it that night.
Exactly.
Yeah, that title was meant for Mercedes Moné, but injuries happened.
Yeah. And that's why they're going to run it back. I say they run that match back at a grand stage, All In or a big star or something like that.
But has anyone looked on Mercedes Monet's Instagram or anything like that? Because I know I haven't. I just want to see, speculate. Because if she is healed or anything like that by tomorrow, then
she could cost Willow the match.
Exactly. If she's healed by tomorrow,
Well, we know Saraya is back along the Outcast corner. You know Saraya will be so hard going to be in the corner. Sky Blue probably will be on the other side trying to play defense. I can see Akashida getting involved, but in my opinion right now, I'm just waiting again for the long story of revenge and redemption because there's one that deserves the moment at All In. It's Jamie Hayter. I hope Jamie Hayter gets the moment, and I think it will be against Toni Storm in the rematch at All In. That should be one of the main events, in my opinion, at the All In pay-per-view. So for that to happen, I gotta go with Toni Storm.
Now, here's the question: if that's the plan they're going for, and if they can get Mercedes Moné, and she's probably going to fight Saraya, because that's the match people want to see at this point.
Right.
Here's the thing I'm going to just throw out there. What would we do with Willow Nightingale? Do we have her fight at All In? Or okay, here's an idea. Here's a revolutionary idea for AEW.
Go for it.
3 women matches. Willow Nightingale takes. Okay, first off, Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm for the world title.
I'm a hater.
Oh wait, we actually have 4 technically if we want to do that far. Chris Statlander versus whoever for the TBS title.
Right.
Mercedes Moné versus Saraya.
Okay.
Willow Nightingale versus Sky Blue.
What?
FTW Strong Women's Championship?
Well, that'd be a mutually respectable bout. That'd be interesting to see the two friends collide. And she's been on the rise. She's absolutely been on the rise. So
and if she wins the Owen, they gotta give her a title run.
And she's already had a chance against Toni Storm, and she came this close, including surviving Storm Zero, the first to do so in AEW. So, I could see that. By the way, Chris Statlander, great to see her back after August.
Imagine though if they go 4 women matches at All In, then they'll say we revolutionized the industry again.
Tony Khan is not that politically incorrect or chivalrous to do some stupid shit like that. All right. He actually respects.
I'm talking about the tribalists mostly.
Well, again, tribalists wake up or get fucked.
It'll just be Tony Khan finally realizing the women can make money.
Well, I don't think it's because of that. In my opinion, Tony Khan always just feels like a guy that, and I think this just goes for us, even as fans. I don't think men understand women. Simply put, that's why I don't think men understand women's wrestling. There's a reason why I say the knockouts are the strongest division booked. Who books them? Gail Kim.
Yeah, I know. Oh, by the way, there's been an update of what happened after Collision went off the air.
Oh, boy.
Tony Khan posed with the best friends.
What?
Huh?
Tony Khan posed with all 4 members of the best friends. Rocky Romero, Trent, Chuck, and OC.
Of course, because you got to give the people what they want.
Oh, no, they didn't do the hug. They just posed on the stage.
Oh, well, that's subtle. Considering after Collision, they were doing Bring Up Our Tables, as Tony Schiavone alluded to on the Control Center. Excuse me, thank you. Either way, I hope these women have a good match. I'm sure they will, but I hope it's perceived correctly. But this is just weird on all fronts. I was expecting Ruby Soho versus Willow Nightingale for the NWW Strong Championship, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, because Ruby can afford to eat a loss.
No.
Yeah, anyway. Let's go ahead and get into the serious thing, because when I look at this pay-per-view, I think there's not 1, not 2, but 3 matches worth main eventing, and they kind of all run together, if you understand what I'm saying, because you got Blackpool Combat Club, you got the Elite, and you got New Japan Pro Wrestling. So here we freaking go. And King, why don't you go ahead and kick off this shindig, because you are Elite, but truly, what is Elite? And will the Elite reign supreme as its 10-man tag team action as your boys in the Humbucks tag alongside of all people? Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii against Blackpool Combat Club, Shota Umino, and Konosuke Takeshita. Something's going to give here.
Something has to give, especially what had happened at Anarchy in the Arena, because Blackpool Combat Club beat, let's just face it, they beat them, they destroyed them. It was chaos on Double or Nothing. They got their win. And then, of course, here we are with Forbidden Door, but with Eddie Kingston being the fourth man, it's like, I don't really trust you guys and everything like that.
I don't respect
So it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And, of course, Mox and Eddie about to draw a line with that, as we can see it unfold in front of our eyes. So it's like, I'm going to find me a fifth partner, but it's going to be somebody who I trust. And, of course, I knew it. It was going to be Ishii.
I called it.
Lo and behold, it was going to be Ishii. And, of course, on the Blackpool Combat Club side, I mean, I knew Takeshita was going to be the fourth, and I knew Shoto was going to be the fifth. My thing is, will the Blackpool Combat Club get the second win on the Elite and become 2-0 in this feud, or the Elite tie it up? As me personally, I want to see the Elite tie it up because, of course, we got blood and guts possibly in the near future, and this is what it's all building up towards to. Is blood and guts.
The end game.
That's the end game.
Yeah, but at the same time, we all remember the last time Eddie Kingston was in a big multi-man match and involved blood and gasoline.
Yeah.
And let's look at the stories here. So you got Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite at the forefront, right? The three men on each side. Then you got Konosuke, the first member of Don Callis' new family, looking to cut the Elite out of All Elite Wrestling. We still have no idea who else is part of this family or if another member of the family is going to show up at literally Forbidden Door. You got Claudio Castagnoli and Eddie Kingston's hatred to each other over a decade plus long since Shakura. And then you have Ishii, who kind of is just an added force here, but he's had beef with Shota Umino, including at Dominion, when Shota, Claudio, and Moxley challenged Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii for the 6-member weight tag team championship. So again, what's the biggest story here? And even in all of that, Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, yet to come to blows since Eddie Kingston's return that you saw live, Eric, might I add. So, again.
Oh, they did a promo after the show, too.
There you go.
And guess what? Kenny Omega mentioned.
What?
I forgot to mention this. You can love us. You can hate us. And he mentions mending fences. And I was like, Kenny, you know I need to post the obligatory Hawkeye gift. Don't give me hope, man.
This is Kenny Omega we're talking about. You know how he perceives storytelling and wrestling.
He loves to do it. He loves to do this. He loves to do this.
So again, what's the biggest story to come out of this? Do you run back Eddie Kingston vs. Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World Championship possibly at the next pay-per-view? Shota Umino and Tomohiro Ishii, I believe, are not in the same block in the G1 Climax, but there's potential that they can meet each other, as Tomohiro Ishii is in the same block as Eddie Kingston. They fought each other in wars, not only in NJPW, but AEW. So let's also keep that in mind, gentlemen. And again, Jon Moxley, what did he mean by every time? When I heard that, every time what? We didn't get an answer to that. They could run back Konosuke Takeshita versus Eddie Kingston at some point, because that was a Rampage opener. Both men knocked the shit out of each other, literally. Eddie Kingston just fell into the fall and got the win there. And Konosuke right now, since adopting this dark aura, including that fiend. What the hell is that fiend, by the way? Just that's
right?
really all it is.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like,
was that a fan?
Are you trying to go for Resident Evil Silent Hill horror?
What it sounds like, without the friggin' Umbrella Corp in the corner, as far as we know. Jesus. Yeah, again, what is the biggest story? I understand what you're saying, King. Endgame being blood and guts, but how much more freaking warfare do you need? And technically speaking, your humbugs did get the win. King saw it live. Remember, main event. It was the freaking main event of that Dynamite. They beat the Blackpool Combat Club 3-some.
Oh yeah, that is right. So we are tied at 1-1.
It's 1-1.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So if I was a betting man, I think the Blackpool Combat Club are going to win this, and Kenny Omega's going to have no choice but to call in the big guns.
Well, he's got a couple in his corner if that's the case, but that is
like he said, he got two non-AEW friends to help him out in the fight. So
Yeah, and at this point, based on the story tone, because this match and the next two matches we're going to talk about kind of like just go with each other. I think it'll be the entire story of the night. I do think Blackpool Combat Club's going to get the win here too, because I do think it's a more common united front, because they hate all five of these men. And with the combustible element of Eddie Kingston, you know something's got to give, whether or not intentionally or unintentionally. Eddie Kingston, I think, is the key to defeat and victory for either side.
Also, doesn't Tomohiro Ishii also have history with the Elite, mostly because of the Bullet Club days?
Yep.
When they ran roughshod?
About to say.
Yep.
Just saying. Again, and Ishii, he don't give a shit, man. He's just gonna beat the daylights out of everybody. Plus, I'm pretty sure he wants to knock Wheeler Yuta. And let's keep in mind, Don Callis and Wheeler Yuta, you know, are gonna be in the corner.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about our double main event here, because again, and I wonder if the result of this match could have any implications towards either of these two matches. And according to what we heard by Excalibur, we know what match is closing the show. So let's go ahead and talk about the semi-main as I rewatch Wrestle Kingdom 17 today, because a match back for revenge. You should have killed me when you had the chance, but you didn't. I'm invading your turf, your country, and I am getting back what's mine. But Kenny Omega said post Wrestle Kingdom, I am not ready to give up that hat as the ringmaster. Why would I be? Why would anyone be? So again, will the experiment finally succeed where he has not and reclaim the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship? And with Will Ospreay having private security by Don Callis, at least to the building, will the Invisible Hand enact a plan that will lead to more dismay for Kenny Omega? Is Kenny Omega right now at his weakest mentally? And is that the one thing Will Ospreay needs to exploit for victory? You heard what happened during that press conference ahead of Wrestle Kingdom. You have everything possible physically, but you don't have everything up here. And Will Ospreay literally got cut up here and reminded Kenny Omega. And again, Eric, you saw this live. So,
Yes.
Eric, what's your thoughts on this match? Not just the result, but
Well,
the outcome.
let's be real. Let's be real. Kenny Omega is basically mind has been splintered at this point. Because think about it. Think of who the Elite are now dealing with. The Elite are dealing with Don Callis's family. And they don't know who else is coming in to join the family.
Exactly.
You got Blackpool Combat Club. You got United Empire waiting in the shadows. And if you were a hopeful man, CMFTR is waiting to throw chairs.
Mending fences, right?
Mending fences.
CM Punk is in the same building as all these people.
So think about it. That's four. Oh, and then you got to remember, what's Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii going to do if they finally snap at them? That's like 5 factions going after one.
Eddie Kingston and Kenny Omega. Jesus Christ. Lord help us. The man just came back from surgery. Let's not kill him.
He's been put in the G1 Climax. I think they're already trying to.
Oh, shit. Anyway, yeah, continue.
But yeah, with Kenny Omega's mind now divided in all these factions, gunning for the Elite's reign of power in AEW and their sphere of influence, I don't want to say yet if he's going to drop the title. I feel like if he does drop the title, then I want to say they could do it at Forbidden Door, but I was like, but wouldn't it make more sense to have Will Ospreay defeat Kenny Omega at All In or Wrestle Kingdom?
Exactly. Well, All In
Like,
is
granted, there's the hometown advantage, there's the hometown curse thing, but like, come on, let's be real. AEW tends to have the hometown winner most of the time.
True.
Yep.
But Don Callis is also a hometown curse.
Yeah.
And even Don Callis has said he got security backup to protect Ospreay of what he said.
So we're kind of in this, I don't know who's going to win. It's just going to be a hellacious match because think about it. You have the Elite are surrounded. They're surrounded by the United Empire, the Blackpool Combat Club, the family of Don Callis, and God knows who else is going to gun for them.
But everyone's at the Elite. It's the Elite versus the World King. Let's just be honest here.
It really pretty much is. It's
About
pretty much
30 minutes. About 30 minutes this year was Wrestle Kingdom 17 that Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay went to absolute fucking war. And Will Ospreay nearly died at one point, I feel like, with how much blood he was losing off of that spot.
Well, he did say he lost a pint of it.
Jesus Christ almighty. And he still kept going. And then, of course, you figure about the fact that right now it is literally 2-0. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay overall in their singles history. But a trilogy of matches would not be impossible to conceive, but also could even go to a draw or be thrown out. Like, Kenny Omega's defended the title once since winning it, by the way, back at Wrestle Kingdom against Jeff Cobb when he brought back the cleaner, including friggin' Devil Sky on Dynamite that nearly made you pass out, King. So, yep.
Now, if only he could do the Sephiroth entrance again.
I don't think he don't. I would not count it out here.
Don't hold your breath because he might do it tomorrow.
He's not going to do a Sephiroth entrance. He's going to do a Final Fantasy 16 reference entrance.
Yeah, clearly, we're going to get surprise entrances again. There's no doubt about that in my mind. This is the second biggest match on this card, in my opinion, bar none. But I look at it like this: Will Ospreay. He said he had to get things back together before the end of the year, or he may need to have gone somewhere else or step away. The man has been on Chris Van Lee podcast saying, I'm comfortable in New Japan Pro Wrestling because now I'm a family man. I finally settled down. Hard to believe. I got actually obligations, responsibility. I could go home and see them, and I love doing that. And I love the style.
And I don't want to live in America because America's currently messed up currently.
Well, he didn't say that on Chris Van Lee, but there probably was something about that. He said to beat Kenny Omega, though, I probably have to go back to being that twat that everybody hates, but gets the job done because he tried to go back to his past, the aerial assassin, be flashy, and it'll bite him in the ass, literally. So whether or not Kenny Omega falls to the Commonwealth Kingpin or Golden Lover brings up the cleaner, and let's not forget the history of Kota Ibushi and Will Ospreay, Wrestle Kingdom 13, folks, just saying. And that's really where this all stems back. They even talked about that in the Wrestle Kingdom press conference ahead of the match. I do think with the fact that Will Ospreay is going into the G1, and he's in the same block as Okada, he needs some sort of leverage mentally. And I do think he will get that holding the IWGP United States Championship. Because right now, there is too many storylines going with the Elite in AEW. Will Ospreay is New Japan Pro Wrestling. Simple as that. I think Will Ospreay is getting the title back somehow, some way. I just have no idea how. I'm actually going with Will Ospreay on this. So I'm torn. I'm truly torn. But I think Will Ospreay, because Don Callis' motive, and clearly, like you said, screwdriver or not, Kenny Omega's mentality has been split down the middle. I think Will Ospreay is going to take the advantage and get the win, some way, somehow. King, what's your thoughts on this whole thing?
Is it possible that they're going to have a second match of the year and possibly top their first one from Wrestle Kingdom 17? Yes. It's a possibility that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Because within these two, what we saw at Wrestle Kingdom 17 was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And there is a possibility of them topping themselves in Toronto. I mean, we had a match of the year to start off the year, and we're possibly going to get another match of the year within these two because these two are going to leave it all in Canada. And of course,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, imagine if they want to do All In, though, with them.
I just don't
that
know
is true.
Yeah,
but we still don't know if they want to let it go down there because Will has said that he wants to participate in All In. He has.
Look, King, I have an idea. I might be a little insane, and I might be channeling a bit of Bryan Danielson's insanity. But what if they have Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay open the show? 1 hour Iron Man match.
Dominion. He's trying to run back the trilogy of Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega.
That wasn't an Iron Man match. That was a 2 out of 3 falls match. We're talking about 60
It might as well been a freaking Iron Man match for what it was, Jesus.
Okay, you're right. Let's go with the Tessa Blanchard style of 75-minute match.
Oh, God.
Oh, 75? No.
That's even longer than what freaking Kenny Omega and Okada did. That was 2 out of 3.
I mean, like, didn't Brian want to go 3 hours with Austin Aries at one point years back?
Yes, he did. Jesus, that man's
crazy. But he only managed to get 90 minutes out.
Right. And I'm sure he would try and do that. But then we talk about the longest match ever that took place on an island across like 3 days. So there you go.
But if Don, what he said about, I'm going to bring my security with me to protect you on Sunday.
That security is his family?
Maybe his family. Maybe he's talking about his old faction from back in Raw is War. I forgot what that faction was called. When they was wearing the green military outfits or whatnot. I forgot what it was called back in the day. But he was the leader of that.
Right.
Maybe he brings those back. But either I'm seeing a time limit draw or Kenny wins.
Time
By
limit
shenanigans.
draw. Damn. But Don Callis did say all he wants is a fair one-on-one clean fight. Right. And Kudos to Takeshita and Kenny Omega have yet to run it one-on-one. So I am so damn torn on this match, but I cannot wait to
go. I got a question. Okay, with Don Callis mentioning his family, do you think Vin Diesel's gonna show up? Family.
And Fast and Furious franchise overkill, like I said. Ghost in the Shell only had to do freaking CGI nonsense twice. I said what I said. Tell me when I'm telling lies. No, but that was funny. You threw me off. Yeah, as far as this goes, the fans win. If they run this to a draw, though, and this doesn't close the show, my God, that's a crazy-ass decision. But considering that the freaking post-media scrum, we all know MJF's going to try and invade that somehow. Let's just put it out there. Is at 11:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be buckled in main card-wise for 3 hours and 30 minutes at least.
Well, the show technically starts at 7 if you want to include the 0 hour.
Yes, but thankfully those matches are on the 0 hour.
0 hour.
Freaking 10 matches.
But come on, we all know the 0 hour does have some quality moments, unlike the other shows.
Oh, absolutely, you can.
Fair point.
I'm not going to just the 0 hour. Again, like I told you, I'm looking for a Phoenix vs. Billy Starks, but I'm also looking forward to the main event, as we know, thanks to Excalibur.
Also, I got an idea. If they have indeed done it, what if CM Punk screws Kenny Omega?
That will break the internet. Again, you talk about all the different factors. I'm not sure which one would piss off King more or would shock the world more. Shock the world.
I know what could do it.
Go for it, Agent of Chaos.
They have this match close the show. Kenny Omega loses. The Elite come out, and then you get all 20 people beat the living what's out of them to end the show and leave them in a bloody carcass mess.
The Elite truly cut out of all Elite Wrestling.
They go NWO style on the Elite of all people.
Jesus, guerrilla warfare. Oh my gosh. Absolute destruction. Well, that definitely would be a ridiculous chaos mosh pit. How's the champion of the British, by the way? Great Khan. Oh, hell. Not booked for this show. That's ridiculous. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this, guys, because like you said, Eric, the end point, maybe that's the end game, because based on what we said with this whole Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite, who truly is real? Who truly is the best? Who truly is the Elite? We picked Blackpool Combat Club in the 10-man tag. We picked Will Ospreay, except for you, King, in the United States Championship. That means the Elite go 0-2.
I got perfect, even more scarring moment for Kenny.
You mean the fact that Bryan Danielson and him went to a 30-minute draw, but Bryan Danielson got his win over Kazuchika Okada for his first time out? Is that what you're alluding to?
Imagine the reaction Kenny would have. He fought Okada for the first time for 47 minutes for the world title and lost. Bryan defeats Okada in his first match as the main event. And how do you think Kenny's going to feel knowing that he couldn't do what Bryan did?
What if Bryan does it even quicker? What if Bryan submits the Rainmaker? But to counter that point, bruv, we're fucking talking about Kazuchika Okada, who's channeling Antonio Inoki and beating the shit out of every young boy that tries to step up to him in this generation.
Also, I heard he was part of the 6-man tag team division now, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, what? He's what?
He's part of the never open weight 6-man tag team champions with
weird, isn't it weird that
Tanahashi.
That the Rainmaker was initially designed just to be world champion guy. I could probably buy him being IC champion and US champion, but the never open weight belts?
It's one of those
Yep.
things where for the first time he's not fighting for himself. He is fighting for a team. He won the titles for a team. But he's already beaten Kaito Kiyomiya. He's already beaten Renda Rita. He's already beaten Shota Umino. Why all this current generation versus new generation stuff's been going on across all freaking Japanese pro wrestling, including the All Together show, when the AJPW, Pro Wrestling Noah, and NJPW all existed under one roof, and Okada still made the rest of them look like bitches. It's one of those things right now. Okada, he kind of gives zero fucks, but now he's facing somebody else that gives zero fucks for the first time ever.
Well, to be fair, I think Okada got his zero Fs moment after what happened at early Wrestle Kingdom when he got kicked in the head stiffly.
Yeah, and he beat the shit out of Kaito Kiyomiya, and then he beat the dance out of the guy on his own turf and then walked away. He embarrassed the man. And Kaito Kiyomiya at the time was the GHC heavyweight champion. But here's the dynamic, though, that we got to think about here. Bryan Danielson is one of the best of all time. Not a young boy in any rights. This could literally be the match that could break Okada and everybody else, and considering G1 coming up, could take advantage of that. Think about it. If Bryan Danielson beats Okada ahead of the G1, what does that do for the momentum or the motivation of the G1?
What if he beats it by submission?
Exactly. Look at who's in his block. Taiji, Great Khan. Oh, hell. Kenta, freaking ELP, Yoshihashi, and freaking Will Ospreay. What if Will Ospreay wins, but Okada doesn't? Could this be the moment that Will Ospreay takes advantage and beats the Rainmaker? Okada's not only defending his legacy, he's defending the fact that he's won the G1 Climax now 3 times, the last 2 years in a row.
Well, to be fair, I don't count one of them because it ended unexpectedly due to injury.
I know, but still, circumstances. But yeah, and like you just said, when was the last time Okada lost a match via submission? Has that ever happened?
I don't think so.
I don't think that's ever happened before.
That would be
maybe an Impact when he was in Impact.
Let's don't talk about that. No. Let's don't talk about that Impact excursion. Don't. No.
I'm just saying that could have been the only time, but that's probably it.
No, don't bring that up. That was disastrous. Sheesh.
And the last time Kenny Omega lost in the decision, not part of it, because I'm not considering multi-person, directly was pinned or submitted. I don't think he's ever submitted. Just say it. Pinned on American soil. I don't think that's happened either to a degree now that I think about it.
Nope.
This to me screams Okada's going to win. But Bryan Danielson's going to have the match and the fight of his life.
Brian's going to
get soil this time, though.
What?
We're on Canadian soil, though.
That
is true. Fair point.
And Bryan Danielson's not Canadian. He's American. Damn it.
Neutral ground.
I guess an international affair, to say the least. But how do you bet against Okada? I'm just saying.
You can't
actually, you can, because if he was holding the gold, then I would definitely see him winning. But now he's not holding the world title.
Yeah, but again, ahead of G1, Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite. Bryan Danielson's kind of been doing his own thing, by the way. The Blackpool Combat Club holds themselves to a standard of pro wrestling, saying they surpass the standard the Elite has set. And like you said, Kenny Omega, first time out, he took a chance at the Rainmaker, lost. Bryan Danielson does the same thing. Kenny and Bryan, let's just call it what it is, boys. They're the front runners of both these groups. They are the leaders, the pillars of the Elite and BCC, respectfully. If they both lose, I see that makes it neutral, and maybe this whole war with Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite ends actually with Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega running it back, no time limit. I think Okada is going to win this, just to even things out and really give the ground of Forbidden Door to New Japan Pro Wrestling, considering the Ace lost last year in the main event for the freaking title. I think Okada is going to win this. I'm actually going with Okada officially.
I echo that. I got Okada winning this. I got Okada winning against Danielson. It's going to be a 5-star, maybe even 6.
Oh, God. Dave Meltzer's going to retire with this star rating shit.
But other than that, I got Okada winning this one against Bryan Danielson. But nonetheless, it's going to be a damn good match to close out the show.
I just wonder again what the ending of this is going to be. If Brian loses to the Blackpool Combat Club, come down, beat the shit out of Okada, and then you have the Elite come down, try to beat him up. Then Don Callis' family comes out, beats out the Elite, and Tad's alongside the freaking Blackpool Combat Club.
No. You also got to include United Empire.
Oh, no.
I think Osprey will be like business sell and Sully just not respect Kenny Omega and head back to New Japan and focus on the G1 Climax.
To be fair, Don Callis is trying to get business dealings with him, so there's still a chance.
I mean, he called him a carny cunt at the freaking press conference. I think Will Ospreay would rather be caught dead than literally work with Don Callis. So,
right. Oh, you want to know what he could have said?
What?
He could have said this: "I'd rather lose to Yano than team up with Callis."
Don't mention that name. Don't mention that name. Don't mention that name. All right.
Wait. Oh, you know that just reminded me.
People propose the idea. People propose the idea of Toru Yano versus Danhausen. My brain will fucking explode.
No, not that. I was like, how come the Elite haven't referenced Yano defeating Jon Moxley?
Jesus Christ.
That's a good point, and I don't think Jon Moxley wants to be reminded of that.
No, he doesn't. Leave that alone. I think Mox wants to leave that alone, period.
What if Yano shows up?
But wasn't Moxley vowing revenge and saying that they would learn the stupidity of Yano to get revenge and yada, yada, yada?
If Yano shows up in that 10-man tag, the Elite are winning. There, I said it.
I will be disgusted if Yano shows up. I'll even say that that's a tainted victory. There, I said it. Tainted.
Oh, what if Yano defeats Orange Cassidy as his 26th opponent?
No,
Eric.
Yano,
no.
I'm like, practically speaking, Yano was declared the king of pro wrestling, according to
Jesus. Of course, you had to bring that up.
Keep Yano away from all championships, for the love of God.
He does not need a championship.
No, my anxiety. No. Oh, God almighty. All right. Bottom line, though, this Forbidden Door is going to lead to the first match being booked for All In my opinion, and it's going to leave us with something unforgettable, and I cannot wait to see what happens. This is going to be a phenomenal pay-per-view, to say the least. Might be my pay-per-view of the year.
Let's just wait that out. We got All In to go for.
That's why I said might be, because All In, like you said, will set a new standard. The biggest audience, biggest gate ever, biggest expectation ever in all Elite Wrestling to close out their summer.
Okay, I gotta bring something up. So you know how I've been on my YouTube thumbnails having this banner on the side of it called Destiny of Pro Wrestling or Reign of Pro Wrestling?
Yes.
Okay, I had this system played out for my mind, basically making it as a homage to the X-Men's current stuff going on. Because let's be real, AEW is like the X-Men. They are hated by a lot of people
at this point
for stupid reasons. But think about how this whole era would end. Rebirth started with All In. Destiny ends with All In.
Wouldn't that be poetic?
Yes. Actually, that's how I'm ending the banner system for a while, because let's be real. I kept saying Forbidden Door started the Destiny of Pro Wrestling era on my channel, but I was like, but what could top that? And then Tony Khan was like, I bought the rights to Ring of Honor, which means I own that name. The thing that started the Rebirth era.
You see, I bought Ring of Honor. Got Stokely Heavyweight, Gary Lynn as the board of directors.
Also, isn't Stokely part of the board?
Yes, I don't
yes, he is.
Why is that a thing?
Stokely and Jerry Lynn.
Oh God, I just realized something.
What?
King, you know what you can be doing now when you get Fight Forever?
What?
Make video game models of all of us so you can get the All In graphic as an official.
That's brilliant. Oh, good Lord.
And because I'm going to ruin this video for Noah, we put bunny ears on his. I've ruined it. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning into another ATW View Impromptu On behalf of the entire W family, Amerijade continuing your quest in the UK. I wish you nothing but the best. Follow Spinebuster TV. Follow Amerijade on Twitter. Shout out to the entire ATW family. Casey Flynn, Lex the Enforcer. Don't show that damn sign, Lex. I swear to God. Buddy, get well soon. Yeah, Allie. Freaking King that is dying laughing. Cindy, of course, and her pursuits now part of SCW backstage interview correspondence crew. JD and the party guys, the Wrestling Encyclopedia, Casey Gallagher, the entire W family. Appreciate all of you. For the King A Train, for Eric, our Inquirer, Bearball Face News, and Agent of Chaos. Eric, damn you. I'm the Seminole Foster. I hope you all
You're
enjoyed
so
this.
close, Noah, but so far from the game show.
Dadgummit. We are ATW. We are AEW. We look at all things wrestling, and we bid you now a fine adieu. Until next
yay,
time.
Allie, adieu.
Damn it, yeah. As always, this ain't no Final Fantasy. This is a recurring theme where, once again, Eric has raised my ire. And once again,
you missed the opportunity. You could have sang it, saying this. This is no Final Fantasy. This is reality. No escape from reality. You missed it, Noah. You missed the Bohemian Rhapsody tribute.
Anyone can see. Nothing really matters.
Except Yay Alley.
Really, damn you. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time on the ATW
I wonder how you're going to
View.
explain this to James on open mic night.
I'll be in that one too, and I'll put hashtag Yay Alley, and then I'll dip.
Damn it, you both! We are ATW. We'll see you next time. Bye.